Chapter 1703. 1703 Chapter 1703 Rising wind and surging clouds. The experts of the intentionless saber sect understood that not only were they finished, but the intentionless saber sect was also finished. They sighed. Their luck was too bad. They just happened to meet the master of Cloud Dragon Valley, the lord of Demon Castle, and the sect master of Life and Death Sword sect. Do you think it's a coincidence that we're here? We've arrived long ago and are just waiting for your intentionless saber sect to make a move. If you don't make a move, how are you going to suppress the intentionless saber sect in the future? The sect leader of the Life-Death Sword sect said coldly. What? You guys arrived long ago? Could it be that you already knew that my intentionless saber sect had already surrendered to evil spirit? The supreme saint of the intentionless saber sect was in disbelief. Their actions were already very secretive. Of course, we've been investigating this matter all this time. Cloud Dragon Valley Master continued. 3 years ago my disciple Lu Ming was on his way back to Dragon God Valley from the Tsang Mountains when he was assassinated by evil spirit. According to him, the intentionless saber sect was among the ones who attacked. So, all these years, the Demon Castle's Castle Master, the Life and Death Sword sect Master, and I have been secretly investigating. As expected, we found some clues. However, you guys hid it very well and we don't have any evidence. So, we can only wait for you guys to take action. Many people were shocked. So that was the case. 3 years ago, Lu Ming was actually assassinated by evil spirit. 3 years ago. I see. At that time we did not expect Lu Ming to survive. We tried our best but God did not bless us. The great sage of the intentionless saber sect heaved a long sigh. He did not expect that everything would be ruined in the hands of Lu Ming. If not for the fact that Lu Ming did not die 3 years ago and informed the Cloud Dragon Valley Master of the possibility of the intentionless saber sect colluding with evil spirit sect, today's incident would not have happened. Their plan would definitely have been carried out smoothly. Just kill them, there's no need to talk to them. The Demon Fort's Lord spoke and his eyes revealed a ferocious look. His golden claws reached out and grabbed at the people from the intentionless saber sect. The people of the intentionless saber sect were unwilling to give up. They wanted to resist, but in the hands of an absolute saint, resistance was futile. In the end they were killed one by one. Ming, are you guys alright? The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley stepped forward and came before Lu Ming, Longyuan Mountain, and Yang Tianzong. Master, if you don't make a move, we'll be finished. Yang Tianzong said with a bitter face. Are you blaming your master for being late? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master laughed as he scolded. Your disciple wouldn't dare. Yang Tianzong said. This time, it's of utmost importance to lure the people of the intentionless saber sect out. If we had acted earlier, the people of the intentionless saber sect would definitely not have made a move. Of course, if you guys were really in danger, how could I not have helped? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming, Longyuan Mountain and the rest nodded. Indeed, if the Cloud Dragon Valley Master and the others had made their move earlier, the people of the intentionless saber sect would definitely have bided their time. Ming, you've done well this time. It looks like you've gained a lot from the 100 Clan battlefield. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master looked at Lu Ming with a satisfied expression. To be honest, Lu Ming's performance had exceeded his expectations. He had seen Lu Ming's battle with the Divine Sun. I still have to thank Master. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Let's go back. Someone said. Lu Ming looked over and saw that it was someone from the Heavenly God sect. This time the Tianxin sect had suffered a great loss. A great saint had been killed and more than half of the disciples had been killed. Most of the people who came to the treasure sealing assembly were the younger generation of disciples. They were the elites of the younger generation. Such a huge loss was a heavy blow to the Tianxin sect. One could imagine that in the future, there would be a gap in the experts of this generation in the Tianxin sect. It was very terrifying for a force to not have a successor with fresh blood. Let's go back. Then one by one the sects began to return. They had to report today's matter to their sects as soon as possible. Some of them expressed their gratitude to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, the Life and Death Sword sect Master, and the Demon Castle Lord before leaving. At this moment Lu Ming released Zifeng, Tianchue, and the rest from the mountain and river diagram. When they learned of the situation they were all extremely shocked. Alright, let's return to Dragon God Valley. The Valley Master waved his hand, and a sword flew out of his hand. It rapidly grew to 10,000 meters long and a few hundred meters wide. Thousands of Dragon God Valley disciples stepped on the sword and headed for Dragon God Valley. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's speed was astonishing. Even with thousands of people, he was still very fast. In less than a day they had returned to Dragon God Valley. A few days later, news of the battle at Tsang Mountain quickly spread throughout the entire Tsang region, shocking countless people. No one had expected that this time's treasure sealing assembly would be so exciting and soul-shaking. First of all, as a dark horse, Lu Ming had risen to power and killed Luo Shuihan, winning first place in the fixed treasure auction. After that, he fought the Divine Sun and had a great battle. Lu Ming had a breakthrough in the battle and killed the Divine Sun. From now on, Lu Ming was the #1 genius of the Azure continent. After that, there was even the incident of evil spirit religion besieging all the major sections. In the great battle, the intentionless Saber sect even rebelled. All of these things were unbelievable and shocking. As for Lu Ming, his name had truly shaken the Azure region and was remembered by countless people. Another 10 days passed and a piece of news was sent out, sweeping through all parts of the Azure continent. The 12 sects of the Azure State joined forces and sent out a huge army to attack the intentionless Saber sect. They intended to encircle and annihilate the intentionless Saber sect. However, by the time the experts of the 12 sects arrived, the intentionless Saber sect had already been completely deserted. All the experts had already retreated, leaving behind only a few people with low cultivation. Where did the experts of the intentionless Saber sect go? However, some people guessed that the intentionless Saber sect was most likely still in the Tsang region. Furthermore, there was another guess that was even more shocking. Since the intentionless Saber sect could side with evil spirit, would the other 12 top sects in the Azure region also side with evil spirit? Could the intentionless Saber sect be hiding in this sect? Once this guess was made, the Azure continent was shaken. The 12 top sects were on guard against each other. Because this guess was very likely. For a time, the various sects in the Azure continent were in an uproar. However, there was one thing that would not change. From now on, the Azure continent would no longer have 13 top sections. There would only be 12. During this period of time, Lu Ming had been in seclusion in Cloud Dragon Valley to stabilize his cultivation. He was also trying his best to recover his second body. A month after the Battle of Tsang Mountain, he had refined his second body and had completely recovered. As for his severed arm, it had long since grown back. In fact, the cultivation of the inscription clone had even improved. After all, Lu Ming's main body had already reached the level of the law tank. The main body and the clone were the same person and had the same experience. The clone was not far from the law tank. As for Bubbles, she seemed to be on the verge of a breakthrough as well. She was sleeping soundly in the mountain and river diagram. One day, Lu Ming paid a visit to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Ming, you want the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master asked in surprise. Yes, Master. My other bloodline is the prison-guarding steel. The fragments of the prison-guarding steel are very useful to me, Lu Ming said. Chapter 1704. 1704 Getting another prison-suppressing steel fragment. Lu Ming showed his prison-suppressing steel bloodline after he finished speaking. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was shocked to see the prison-suppressing steel bloodline floating above Lu Ming's head. It was his first time seeing Lu Ming's prison-suppressing steel bloodline. Moreover, Lu Ming had already collected a fragment of the prison-suppressing steel. After a moment of silence, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, Ming, it's all thanks to you that we were able to get 2 ancient treasures this time. What's useful to the sect is the other treasure. The fragment of the prison-suppressing steel is just a supplementary treasure. It's not very useful. It's not a problem for me to get it for you. Many thanks, Master. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This is what you deserve, but there's a problem. 3 years later, when the treasure sealing assembly begins, it will be difficult to explain to the other sects. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. 3 years later, if the other sects get first place, it won't be too late for me to hand it over then, Lu Ming said. At most, Lu Ming would think of a way to let Dragon God Valley continue to be #1 in 3 years. In that case, there would be no need to hand over the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel. Lu Ming was still not strong enough. If he had the strength to rule the Azure region, he would have left the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel behind. No one would dare to say no. All right, I'll come to find you in a few days, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. As expected, 2 days later, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master found Lu Ming and handed the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel to him. With Lu Ming's talent and performance at the treasure auction, he had gained the attention of the high-level officials of Dragon God Valley. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley went to get the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel for Lu Ming without much effort. The only obstacle was the Valley Master of Silver Dragon. However, the Master of Silver Dragon Valley could not disobey the others. Lu Ming entered the mountain and river diagram and took out the fragment of the prison guarding steel. Buzz. As soon as Lu Ming took out the fragment of the prison guarding steel, it flew into the air and emitted a mysterious wave. There were gaps on both ends of this piece, and in the middle there was the word, prison. The fluctuations it emitted were exactly the same as the fragment of the prison-suppressing steel that Lu Ming had. It's indeed a fragment of the prison-guarding steel. It's a part of the middle. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He could feel the prison-suppressing steel's bloodline on his spine stirring restlessly. With a thought, the bloodline of the prison-suppressing steel emerged, emitting a brilliant light. Buzz. The broken piece of the prison-guarding steel seemed to resonate with the steel. It shook violently and then flew to the bloodline of the prison-guarding steel, leaning against the broken piece with the word, steel on it. The two holes were exactly the same. When the two of them were leaning against each other, the light on the prison-suppressing steel became even brighter. It was extremely bright and gave off an ancient and heavy feeling. Lu Ming could vaguely sense that there was a terrifying suppressive force that seemed to be able to suppress the heavens. Prison-suppressing heaven art. At this moment, another piece of information appeared in Lu Ming's mind. It was the information about the prison-suppressing heaven technique. This piece of information was similar to what Lu Ming had received previously, but it was more complete and exquisite. The power of the prison-suppressing heavenly art can only get stronger. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He carefully comprehended it. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. Lu Ming finally ended his cultivation and put away the prison-suppressing steel. Then he left the mountain and river diagram and flew out of the Dragon God Valley to a wasteland. Boom. Lu Ming struck out with his palm. His palm seemed to have transformed into a prison-suppressing steel. It looked realistic and was blasted toward a barren mountain peak. The mountain was shattered into pieces. Then, with a single thought, a phantom of the prison-suppressing steel suddenly appeared around him. Then, the number of phantom of the prison-suppressing steel increased, and finally, there were 12 pieces which pressed down on the ground. Boom. Boom. The ground shook violently and terrifying cracks appeared. The power of the prison-suppressing heavenly art has indeed become stronger, and even more mysterious. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with joy. The prison-suppressing heaven technique was originally very wondrous. As his cultivation level increased, its power would also increase. He seemed to be borrowing the bloodline power of the prison-suppressing steel. Now, the two fragments of the prison-suppressing steel had merged into one. There was no doubt that when Lu Ming used the prison-suppressing heaven technique, the power would skyrocket and surpass the primal chaos sky-turning seal. Yes, Lu Ming's current prison-suppressing heaven technique was more powerful than the chaos sky-turning seal. After all, the chaos sky-turning seal was only a domain martial art technique. However, Lu Ming had already comprehended the chaos laws. The power of his domain martial art technique could no longer keep up. Unless Lu Ming had comprehended a magical power technique based on the laws of chaos. However, one had to reach the martial saint realm and have the saint power, the combination of saint power, and laws to be able to successfully cultivate it. The chaos scripture contained supernormal abilities related to the chaos laws. However, it was extremely difficult to comprehend a divine power. Unless one was extremely talented, ordinary saints would find it difficult to comprehend. In fact, there were magical powers in the 13 top sects of the Azure region. However, Lu Ming had encountered so many saints, but none of them had successfully comprehended it. Otherwise, Lu Ming might not have been able to kill enemies who were of a higher realm. Lu Ming experimented a little more before returning to Cloud Dragon Valley to continue cultivating. In the blink of an eye, a month had already passed since the treasure sealing assembly. On this day, Lu Ming left Dragon God Valley. He turned into a stream of light and disappeared into the horizon. A few days later, Lu Ming arrived in the territory of the Tianyu demon sect. He had not seen Xian Yanqing for a long time and missed him. Moreover, Xian Yanqing did not show up at the treasure sealing assembly. Lu Ming was inexplicably worried. Since he was free now, he decided to visit Xian Yanqing and give him some phoenix incense wood. In front of him, layers of demon mountains appeared. Stop. Lu Ming was blocked by two young men at the entrance of the Tianyu demon sect. Who are you? What business do you have with my Tianyu demon sect? One of the young men asked. Lu Ming. I'm here to see your sect's holy maiden Yanqing. Please inform her. Lu Ming said. What? You're Lu Ming. The two young men's expressions changed and they looked at Lu Ming in shock. Now, Lu Ming's reputation in the Azure continent was too well known. There was no one in the large sects who did not know him. That's right, Lu Ming of the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming nodded. I'm afraid you've come at the wrong time to find our saintess. Our saintess is in closed-door cultivation and won't see any guests. A young man said. He's in closed-door cultivation? Please inform them that if the saintess knows that I'm here, she'll definitely meet me. Lu Ming frowned. Lu Ming, I've told you. The saintess is in seclusion and won't meet with outsiders. You should leave. The young man said again, his face turning cold. Lu Ming's brows furrowed even more. He had been sending voice transmissions to Xian Yanqing, but he could not get them out. Could it be that he was really in seclusion? However, even if he was in seclusion, as long as it was not too important, it was fine to inform him. The two of you, please inform your sect master that I would like to pay my respects to him. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming planned to pay a visit to the sect leader of the Sky Demon sect first before asking about Xian Yanqing. Chapter 1705. 1705 Nianking's closed-door cultivation. 1 year later. Lu Ming, don't you know what's good for you? The sect master of the Sky Demon sect isn't someone you can meet just because you want to. A young man berated, his tone getting worse and worse. I've already asked to see you, but you've tried every possible way to stop me. I can only pay my respects to the Devil's Doctrine sect master myself. Lu Ming's expression turned cold. He had already lost his patience. Boom. Lu Ming took a step forward and his powerful aura pushed the two young men away. Lu Ming, you've got some nerve. How dare you make a move in the Tianyu demon sect? You're dead. The two young men shouted, but they quickly retreated. They did not dare to stop Lu Ming. At this moment, the sound of something breaking through the air rang out in the distance. A few young men walked over, and the one in the lead was actually Mo Yang. What's going on? Lu Ming, it's you? Shut up. Mo Yang berated. He swept his gaze around and his expression changed when he saw Lu Ming. Senior brother Mo Yang, Lu Ming wants to see Saintess Nianqing. I told him that Saintess Nianqing is in seclusion and won't see anyone, so he wants to break in. A young man shouted. Lu Ming, how dare you? Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have some strength. You're still far from being arrogant in my Tianyu demon sect. Mo Yang chided with a cold face. Oh, so you're going to fight me? Lu Ming stepped forward and said indifferently. You? Mo Yang's expression turned ugly as he retreated, his eyes flashing with fear. Fight with Lu Ming? What a joke. Lu Ming could probably kill him with one slap. How would he dare to? If you don't dare to make a move, then get lost. I want to pay my respects to the Devil sect master. Lu Ming berated and strode inside. Stop. At this moment, a voice was heard. A powerful force enveloped Lu Ming and stopped him in his tracks. Then a demonic light flashed and a beautiful middle-aged woman appeared before Lu Ming. Master. When Mo Yang saw this, he hurriedly bowed and revealed a happy expression. This beautiful middle-aged woman was the master of Xian Yanqing, the sect master of the Sky Demon sect. Lu Ming greets the Devil sect master. Lu Ming bowed, neither humble nor arrogant. Master, this Lu Ming is arrogant and despotic. He doesn't care about the Tianyu demonic sect at all. He wants to break into the Tianyu demonic sect. Master, please take him down and cripple his cultivation. Mo Yang said, his eyes shining with a cold light. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He was only here to meet someone and had no intention of humiliating the Tianyu demon sect. He did not believe that the sect master of the Tianyu demon sect, an overlord of a region, would attack him. If that happened, it would probably trigger a war between the Tianyu demonic sect and Dragon God Valley. Alright, I already know about this. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect nodded and had Mo Yang step aside. He looked at Lu Ming and said, You came here to see Nianqing, right? That's right, sect master. Please pass on the message. Lu Ming said. I'm afraid you won't be able to see Nianqing for a while. She's in closed-door cultivation trying to break through to the Saint Realm. She can't be disturbed. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said. To break through to the Sage Realm? Sect master, may I ask how long it will take for you to come out of seclusion? Lu Ming nodded. A year, at least 3 to 5 years at most. It's hard to say. If you're doing this for Nianqing's good, please go back. When Nianqing comes out, I'll ask her to see you. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said. Lu Ming frowned. He did not know why he had a bad feeling in his heart. He couldn't help but think back to 3 years ago when he came to the Tianyu demon sect and returned. He was chased by the Tianyu demon sect. On the surface, the pursuit seemed to be due to jealousy between young people. However, Lu Ming had a feeling that it was not that simple. However, the sect master's words were flawless, and he couldn't find a reason to refute them. If he insisted on meeting Xian Yanqing, he would be showing that he wasn't thinking of Xian Yanqing. Then this junior will take his leave. If Yanqing comes out of seclusion, please let me know. Lu Ming said. Of course. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said. Many thanks, senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists and turned to leave, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Master, why don't you take this opportunity to cripple this kid? Do you want me to bring some experts and kill this kid halfway? If this kid rises up, it will be a great disaster for my Tianyu demon sect. Mo Yang said in a low voice. With Lu Ming's current achievements and talents, do you think the powerhouses of Dragon God Valley would be at ease letting him go out? The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said. Master, are you saying that there are experts protecting Lu Ming in secret? Mo Yang's expression changed. No matter what, we can't beat the grass and alert the snake at this time. Go back. With that, the sect master of the Sky Demon sect disappeared. After leaving the Tianyu demonic sect, Lu Ming was frowning. He had a strange feeling about this matter, but he could not put his finger on it. I hope I'm overthinking it. Let's wait for Yanqing to come out. Lu Ming thought to himself as he headed towards Dragon God Valley. After returning to Dragon God Valley, Lu Ming continued to cultivate in seclusion to build up his foundation in preparation for his breakthrough to the Sage Realm. Time passed by, day after day. In the blink of an eye, a year had already passed since the treasure sealing assembly. This year the various powers of the Azure continent were all very calm. The Azure continent had entered a rare period of peace. The powerhouses of the major forces seemed to have disappeared. Only a few young people below the 7th level martial royal realm would wander outside and play out their own legends. At the peak of a huge snow mountain in Dragon God Valley, a young girl in her teens with bright eyes, white teeth and jade-like skin, could be seen moving around on the peak of the mountain. The soft whip in her hand whistled out, changing unpredictably. One moment it was like a dragon, the next moment it was like a sword, the next moment it was like a spear. The most shocking thing was that the young girl's body emitted a wondrous aura that enveloped the peak of the snow mountain. In the vast expanse of whiteness, there was no vegetation at all on the snow mountain peak, but small grass and trees actually emerged. The plants were green and they were growing rapidly. Soon, the peak of the snow mountain was covered with green grass and flowers. They stood out in the wind and snow. Buzz. Then the shadow of the whip stopped and the young girl's movements stopped. She looked excitedly at the black-robed young man sitting beside her and said in a sweet voice, Master, what do you think of Xiangxiang's cultivation? Not bad, your domain martial technique has already been cultivated to the 3rd level. The black-robed young man nodded with a smile on his face. However, there was still a trace of surprise in the depths of his eyes. The black-robed young man was Lu Ming. It was Lu Xiangxiang. More than a year ago, when Lu Ming had just returned from the 100 Clan battlefield, she had just broken through to the spiritual god realm. Now, however, Lu Xiangxiang had officially stepped into the martial royal realm. More than 10 days ago, she had broken through to the 1st level of the martial royal realm. Lu Ming had taught Lu Xiangxiang a set of domain martial arts techniques. He did not expect her to cultivate to the 3rd level in just 10 days. Her comprehension was amazing. In a little more than a year, he had advanced from the 1st level spiritual god realm to the 1st level martial emperor realm. This speed could only be described as shocking. Of course, the further he advanced, the more difficult it would be to cultivate and the more time he would need. Lu Ming, for example, was still in the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm. He had not broken through to the saint realm. Chapter 1706. 1706 Chapter 1706 Another storm. There was a gap between the half-saint realm and the saint realm. It was difficult to cross and required a strong accumulation. There were many people in the world who had reached the 3rd stage of the half-saint realm and were affected by the laws. However, how many could break through to the saint realm? The lifespan of a saint was extremely long. The reason why there were so many saints in the 13 top sects of the Azure continent was because of the accumulation of time. Some people stayed in the half-saint realm for decades, centuries or even millennia. For example, the Son of God had stayed in the half-saint realm for more than 10 years before he entered the saint realm. As for the other top 10 geniuses of the Azure continent, many of them had also stopped at the half-saint level for a long time. Moreover, Lu Ming cultivated the laws of chaos and it was harder for him to make a breakthrough than ordinary people. It was normal for him to not make a breakthrough in a year. Apart from Lu Ming, the inscription's secondary body had also reached the third stage of the half-saint realm and was already in the zone of the laws. As for Bubbles, she had reached the law tank stage not long after the treasure-fixing assembly. During this period of time, she had been cultivating in seclusion in an attempt to break through to the sage realm. Of course, Bubbles' hard work was just sleeping and refining the time and space spinel every day. Xiang, you should go back first. Consolidate your realm and build a solid foundation. Don't be in a hurry to break through. Lu Ming urged. Yes, master. The little girl nodded, then stepped into the air and left the place. Lu Ming was still sitting cross-legged on the peak of the snow mountain, not moving at all. He let the wind and snow approach him, but he seemed to be detached from the world. His mind was wandering in the natural world as if he had become one with the world. In the blink of an eye, another 7 days had passed. At this moment, a screech that resounded through the sky woke Lu Ming up. Lu Ming opened his eyes and looked at the sky. In the sky, a huge goshawk was flying. No, it was not a real goshawk but a building, a huge and magnificent building. Emperor Tsang's bedroom. Lu Ming's pupils shrank. He could tell at a glance that this was the secret chamber of the hidden ground that he had seen in Emperor Tsang's secret realm. Back then, Emperor Tsang used his sacred treasure, the Thunder Cauldron, to fight with Shakyamuni annihilating soul. Emperor Tsang's bedroom broke through the void and left, flying into the endless void. Now, after a few years, it actually reappeared. Emperor Tsang's chamber flew towards the west of the Azure continent at a terrifying speed. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, 7 to 8 figures flew out from Dragon God Valley. Each of them was extremely fast as they chased after Emperor Tsang's bedchamber. In the blink of an eye they disappeared. The speed was too fast. Even if Lu Ming were to give chase, he would definitely not be able to catch up. Emperor Tsang's chamber has reappeared? Lu Ming's heart was in turmoil. Emperor Tsang's storage ring was still in his hands. It was a pity that there was Emperor Tsang's imprint on it and he was unable to open it now. I wonder how Emperor Tsang and Shakyamuni annihilating soul are doing? The appearance of Emperor Tsang's chamber will definitely shock the entire Azure continent. I believe that news will spread soon. Lu Ming pondered and ended his cultivation. He returned to Cloud Dragon Valley. As expected, after 10 days, a piece of news spread throughout the Azure continent. Emperor Tsang's chamber appeared. It flew from east to west and finally landed on a desert in the west. All the large sects in the Azure continent were alarmed and sent their top experts over. In the end, the various sects sent out their top experts to enter Emperor Tsang's bedroom. In the end, they actually found Emperor Tsang's corpse. This was a demon Thearch's corpse, which was extremely precious. Every feather was a top-tier material that could be refined into a terrifying holy weapon. Its flesh, blood, bones, and bones were even more precious than many natural treasures. They could be refined into supreme medicines with endless mysteries. It could be said that a demon Thearch's entire body was filled with treasures. In the end, the various large sects launched an intense fight over it and a great battle broke out. In the end, the 12 top sects decided to split the demon Thearch's corpse into 12 portions. Each sect would get one portion. The demon emperor of a generation, the peerless expert who suppressed the Azure continent, Emperor Tsang, was divided up by the various sects after his death. However, on Emperor Tsang's body, the various sects could not find the two most precious treasures. They were Emperor Tsang's world core and storage ring. Once a cultivator reached the martial emperor realm, he could transform his saint heart into a world, a real world. Legend had it that some peerless mighty figures could evolve their own worlds into the same as the outside world. They could reproduce living creatures on their own and were extremely mysterious. The worlds that emperor-level experts evolved were collectively called small worlds. The core of a small world was the world core. It was extremely precious and contained the martial sovereign's inheritance. But now, Emperor Tsang's realm core and storage ring were nowhere to be seen, leading to all sorts of speculations. Another half a month passed, and an even more shocking piece of news caused an uproar in the Azure region. The news said that Emperor Tsang's inheritance and storage ring had long been obtained by others. Back then, when the younger generation entered the Emperor Tsang's secret realm, someone had obtained Emperor Tsang's legacy and storage ring. That person was Lu Ming. Once this news was released, the world was shaken and Lu Ming was once again pushed into the eye of the storm. As for the fact that Lu Ming was the only one who entered the core of Emperor Tsang's bedroom, it was dug up again. Following that, there was news that Lu Ming was able to rise so quickly and his combat strength was so shocking because he had obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. This series of news made most people believe that Lu Ming had definitely obtained Emperor Tsang's legacy and storage ring. All the major sects in the Tsang region turned their attention to Dragon God Valley. Who wouldn't be moved by Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures? Lu Ming, a person from a small island overseas, was able to defy the heavens and rise to power just because he had obtained Emperor Tsang's legacy and treasures. If he was not a saint, he could kill a saint. If he had reached such a level, what about others who had obtained it? In the Azure continent, a terrifying storm was brewing. The storm is coming. At the top of a snow mountain in Dragon God Valley, Lu Ming stood still, frowning. Who was it that revealed that he had obtained Emperor Tsang's storage ring? Could it be Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul? Dharma King Annihilating Soul didn't die? Lu Ming's heart stirred. Previously, when the experts entered Emperor Tsang's bedroom, they only found Emperor Tsang's corpse and not Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul's corpse. It was very likely that Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul was not dead. In the entire world, only Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul had seen Lu Ming obtain Emperor Tsang's storage ring. Perhaps, it was Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul who had taken away Emperor Tsang's world core and spread the news. At this moment, a figure stepped through the air and landed beside Lu Ming. Master. Lu Ming bowed and cupped his fists. This person was the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Ming, you should have heard the news from the outside world, right? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. I've heard of it. Lu Ming nodded. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master pondered for a moment before saying, Ming, did you obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures? He only obtained Emperor Tsang's storage ring and not the inheritance. Lu Ming did not hide anything and spoke frankly. Even if he wanted to hide it now, he couldn't. Chapter 1707. 1707. It's yours, no one can take it away. You've really obtained Emperor Tsang's treasure. Ming, you're really lucky. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes lit up as a smile appeared on his face. However, his expression soon turned serious. Ming, who else knows about this matter? Why was it leaked? There's only one person. That's Dharma King Annihilating Soul from Evil Spirit. Back then he was fighting against Emperor Tsang. Lu Ming briefly recounted his encounter with Emperor Tsang and Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul. Shakyamuni Annihilating Soul and Evil Spirit are so ruthless. They're trying to start a civil war in the Azure continent. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master frowned. The other party had spread the news that Lu Ming had obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and storage ring. However, the truth was that Lu Ming did not obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance at all. In this case, even if Lu Ming handed over Emperor Tsang's storage ring, it would be useless. If he did not hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance, it would definitely cause an internal conflict in the Azure continent. This was Evil Spirit's scheme. Ming, Emperor Tsang's storage ring is an opportunity for you. You should keep it well. Even if others want to take it, they can't. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes flashed with a sharp light. At this moment, there was a commotion outside the Cloud Dragon Valley. Lu Ming, come out. A voice came from afar. It's that old man. Lu Ming frowned. Upon hearing the voice, Lu Ming knew that it was the Master of Silver Dragon Valley. This old man has come so quickly. I'd like to see what he's doing here. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said coldly. Then his voice was transmitted out, let them in. The Cloud Dragon Valley's disciples let them in. Then they saw the Valley Master of Silver Dragon leading a group of people, walking in the air with an overbearing aura. Zheng, why did you bring your men to my Cloud Dragon Valley in such an aggressive manner? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Of course it's for Lu Ming. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley looked at Lu Ming and sneered. Lu Ming, you're really selfish. You've obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures, but you didn't say a word and kept them for your own enjoyment. Don't forget who brought you from a desolate island back then. If it weren't for that desolate island, would you be where you are today? However, you obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures and wanted to enjoy them all for yourself. Now hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. You should share them. The Master of the Valley of Silver Dragon looked at Lu Ming with a burning gaze, filled with greed. The people who had come with the Master of Silver Dragon Valley also looked excited. What a joke. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley said coldly, I can tell you that Lu Ming did not obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. Also, I can tell you that even if Lu Ming did obtain them, it was his own opportunity. No one can take it away. Yun Ruoxu stopped quibbling. Who would believe that Lu Ming did not obtain Emperor Tsang's legacy and treasures? Without Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures, how could he, a person from the desolate island, have his current achievements? Furthermore, he took out a few dozen saint weapons at the treasure sealing convention, and he still said that he didn't obtain Emperor Tsang's treasure? Yun Ruoxu, you want to keep it and share it with Lu Ming, don't you? Besides, he only obtained it because of the sect's power. Therefore he must hand it over, said the master of Silver Dragon Valley. His eyes flickered with a cold light. If others have to hand over their opportunities, then why don't you hand over your opportunities, Yinjing? Don't say that you didn't get any opportunities. If you didn't have any opportunities, how could you have cultivated to such a realm? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's voice was cold and indifferent. Any martial artist who had some achievements would more or less have some opportunities. For a top expert to be born, one's own talent, hard work, and willpower were indispensable. However, one couldn't lack opportunities either. How can the opportunities that I have obtained be compared to Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures? Today Lu Ming must hand it over, the master of Silver Dragon Valley said arrogantly. Get lost. And NBSP, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, stepped forward, his body erupting with a terrifying aura that pressed down on the Silver Dragon Valley Master. Yun Ruoxu, what are you doing? This is the Dragon God Valley. I came here with reason and you still want to attack me. The Dragon God Valley does not belong to you alone. And NBSP kill. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley shouted. However, what welcomed him was a terrifying sword radiance. And NBSP break. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley bellowed, his body suffused with dazzling silver light as he used all his strength to resist. But as the sword light flashed, the silver light on his body collapsed, and his face was covered in blood. One of his ears had been cut off by the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. If you don't get lost, the next sword will cut off your head. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said coldly. Yun Ruoxu, you wait here, I'll report this to the Valley Master. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley was furious. His eyes were filled with fear. In the end, he didn't dare to stay and left dejectedly. A clown? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said indifferently. He then looked at Lu Ming. Ming, focus on your cultivation. Don't think too much. With Master here, no one can touch you. Lu Ming was touched. He bowed respectfully and said, Many thanks, Master. There's no need to thank me. I'm your master, so it's my duty to protect you. I'll take my leave first. Cloud Dragon Valley smiled and then stepped into the air, leaving the place. Lu Ming continued to sit cross-legged on the peak of the snow mountain, cultivating quietly. In the blink of an eye, another 3 days passed. On this day, a dragon's roar resounded in Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming woke up from his cultivation and looked in the direction of the entrance of Dragon God Valley. There, the shadow of a real dragon soared into the sky, and then a light curtain was formed. Enemy attack. A voice spread throughout the entire Dragon God Valley, breaking the silence. In the Dragon God Valley, countless figures rose into the air and gathered at the entrance of the valley. They're really fast. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a sharp glint. Buzz. With a flash of light, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master appeared beside Lu Ming. It seems that a sect has come. Ming, let's go and take a look together. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and headed towards the entrance of Dragon God Valley with the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. When they arrived, countless disciples, deacons, and elders of Dragon God Valley looked at Lu Ming with strange expressions. Lu Ming ignored everyone's gazes and looked ahead. At this time, a light curtain filled the entrance of Dragon God Valley. It was the protective array of Dragon God Valley. Outside Dragon God Valley there were several huge warships. Then, figures flew out of the warships. There were at least tens of thousands of people. All of them had powerful auras and were experts. There were two main groups of people. One was dressed in white robes while the other was dressed in black robes. The Heavenly God Sect, the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. At the forefront of the Tianyu Demon Sect was the Sect Master. The Sect Masters of the Tianshan Sect and the Tianyu Demon Sect are here. What a big formation. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said coldly. On the side of the Tianshan Sect, a middle-aged man was bathed in holy light. Like a god, he was full of dignity and had a strong aura. He stepped forward, standing side by side with the Sect Master of the Tianyu Demon Sect, and arrived outside Dragon God Valley. Chapter 1708. 1708 The oppression of two sects in Dragon God Valley. An old man in a snow-white robe stepped out and said, The two of you have gathered such a large force and came together, what is it? The old man was the master of the Ice Dragon Valley, as well as the entire Dragon God Valley. Old man Bing, stop playing dumb. I heard that Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures were obtained by Lu Ming of the Dragon God Valley. Ask him to hand them over. Such treasures can't be swallowed by him alone, nor can your Dragon God Valley sect. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect spoke. His voice was deep and filled with dignity. He is indeed here for Emperor Tsang's inheritance and the storage ring. Lu Ming squinted his eyes and looked at the sect master of the Sky Demon sect. A fire of anger was slowly burning in his heart. The Divine Realm sect was one thing, but the Heavenly Universe Demon sect and the Divine Realm sect were the first to arrive. In the past, Lu Ming had been tolerant and restrained towards the Tianyu Demon sect for Xian Yanking's sake. However, the Tianyu demonic sect had been insatiable and had attacked him more than once. The sect master of the Tianyu demon sect was aware of his relationship with Xian Yanqing. However, he did not care and joined forces with the deity sect to oppress Lu Ming. This made Lu Ming's heart turn cold and his killing intent even colder. Since that was the case, there was no need for him to restrain himself when he met the people of the Tianyu demon sect in the future. Haha, the two of you, where did you hear this from? How can the two of you believe in such a baseless rumor? You even brought so many experts from the two sects, how laughable. The Cloud Dragon Valley master walked out and laughed. Whether it's a rumor or not, whether it's true or not, well, know once we search Lu Ming's soul. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said indifferently. What a joke. You think I can search your soul just because you said so? Then come over here and let me search your soul. The Cloud Dragon Valley master said coldly as he glared at the Sky Demon sect master. You're being unreasonable. If you don't allow me to search your soul, that means you've obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. I advise you to hand them over. Your Dragon God Valley sect can't stop or protect them. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said coldly. That's right, Valley Master. I suggest that we hand Lu Ming over. Otherwise the Dragon God Valley will be in danger. We can't implicate the entire Dragon God Valley because of Lu Ming. The Master of Silver Dragon Valley suggested to the Master of Ice Dragon Valley. Shut up. And NBSP, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, suddenly turned around and coldly looked at the Silver Dragon Valley Master. Valley Master, you see, and NBSP, Ice Dragon Valley Master. The Valley Master's expression changed as he continued to speak to the Valley Master. Alright, Lu Ming is a disciple of Dragon God Valley. Regardless of whether he has obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance or treasures, Dragon God Valley has the duty to protect him. You don't have to say anything more about this matter. And NBSP Ice Dragon Valley Master spoke, causing Yin Zheng's expression to turn ugly. Emperor Tsang ruled the Azure Continent in the past. He was the Emperor of the Azure Continent. His inheritance and treasures shouldn't be shared by only one person and one sect. All the sects in the Azure Continent should share them. You'd better hand them over. The Heavenly God sect master continued. Haha, what a joke. Let's not talk about the fact that Lu Ming didn't get it. Even if he did, it's his own luck. According to what you said, all the resources of your Heavenly God sect come from the Azure Continent. How can your Heavenly God sect monopolize them? Take them all out and share them with everyone in the Azure Continent. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master sneered. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect said with a cold face, how can this matter be compared? If Lu Ming doesn't hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures, your Dragon God Valley will be destroyed. Your name will be removed from the Tsang continent, and everyone will be buried with you. As soon as these words were spoken, the tens of thousands of experts from the Heavenly God sect and the Heavenly Demon sect all erupted with terrifying auras. The atmosphere in the heavens and earth was incomparably oppressive. With so many people unleashing their auras, it was simply too powerful. Also, even if you hide in Dragon God Valley, it's useless. The families of your disciples are all outside, scattered all over the Tsang region. I don't mind sending people to destroy them. The sect master of the Tianshan sect continued. His words infuriated everyone in the Dragon God Valley, but they were also very worried. Despicable. As the sect leader, you're so despicable. You're just like the divine child. Lu Ming shouted. The sect master of the Tianshan sect looked at Lu Ming coldly. Lu Ming had killed the divine son. How could he let Lu Ming go so easily? You're breaking the rules. The Cloud Dragon Valley master said. Even if two sects were to go to war, the family members and clans of a particular sect's disciple would usually not be implicated. This was an unspoken rule in the entire world of martial Dao. Otherwise it would be a mess. The rules are set by the strong. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect said arrogantly. Good, very good. In that case, I will kill every disciple of the Heavenly God sect I see in the future. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master revealed a rare killing intent. Yun Ruoxu, I'm afraid you don't have the ability. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said coldly. Is that so? The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley said. Then he took a step forward and appeared outside the Dragon God Valley's protective array. A long sword appeared in his hand. A dragon's roar came from the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's body. Then I'll see what abilities you have as a sect master. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's voice rang out. Then a terrifying sword light slashed towards the sect master of the Heavenly God sect. Yun Ruoxu, you haven't fought for many years. I'd like to see what you're capable of. A spear of divine punishment appeared in the hands of the sect master of the Tianxin sect. The long spear pierced through the air, reaching a length of 10,000 zhang. It was as if it could shatter the void. Boom. The sword light and the long spear clashed, and the sky and earth rumbled. A terrifying force caused the void to shake violently. The ground was hit by the force and a terrifying gully appeared. Some of the energy flew toward Dragon God Valley, but was blocked by the sect protecting array. Retreat. The experts of the Tianyu Demon sect and the Tianxin sect retreated, afraid that they would be affected. Only the sect master of the Sky Demon sect remained still. The Cloud Dragon appears. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master waved his long sword and a huge true dragon formed. It roared and pounced at the sect master of the deity sect. The sect master of the Tianxin sect burst forth with holy light, which actually condensed into a giant god. The god stepped in the void with a long spear in his hand, and stabbed toward the giant true dragon. The two of them collided again and the whole world was about to be pierced through. Many people were watching in shock. Such a great battle was simply too shocking. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master is actually so powerful. Too shocking. Is the Cloud Dragon Valley Master an absolute saint? My God, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master is an absolute saint. The disciples of the Dragon God Valley were all shocked by the news. The Cloud Dragon Valley had the least number of people among the 7 valleys of the Dragon God Valley. They had always been regarded as the weakest. The people of the other Dragon Valleys did not take the Cloud Dragon Valley seriously. They subconsciously thought that the cultivation of the Valley Master of the Cloud Dragon Valley would not be much stronger. Apart from the Valley Master of Ice Dragon, the other Valley Masters of the 7 Dragon God Valleys were all supreme saints. Previously, most of the disciples of Dragon God Valley had thought that the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley should also be a supreme saint. He had never expected the Cloud Dragon Valley Master to be an absolute saint. 3 appearances of Cloud Dragon. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master waved his sword. This time, 3 void raging roars shot out. Chapter 1709. 1709 Cloud Dragon Valley Master's strength. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master waved his sword and 3 true dragons appeared. Each of them was extremely terrifying as they charged towards the Sky God sect master. The sect master of the Sky God sect had a solemn expression on his face. He circulated his nomological laws and fought with the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Dragon roars reverberated in the air as the spears pierced through the air. The battle was becoming more and more intense. What was shocking was that after more than 10 moves, the sect master of the Tianxin sect was actually at a disadvantage. Everyone was dumbfounded. You also come in. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's voice rang out from the endless sword radiance. A true dragon roared and pounced towards the Sky Demon sect master. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master actually wanted to fight 1 against 2, fighting both the Sky Demon sect master and the Sky God sect master. As you wish. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said coldly. Demonic light shot into the sky, covering half of the world. She waved her hands and countless black demonic lotuses appeared, charging towards the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. 9 appearances of Cloud Dragon. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's voice rang out again as 9 true dragons condensed. Each of these true dragons was formed by countless sword lights. They were extremely terrifying and each of them had earth-shattering power. The 3 experts fought madly and it was difficult to determine the winner. Countless people gasped. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was too powerful. He fought 2 sect masters alone and it was difficult to determine the winner. How many people in the Azure continent had such combat strength? Among everyone, Yin Zheng's expression was the ugliest. He clenched his fists tightly and his body trembled. His face was pale and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had never imagined that the Cloud Dragon Valley Master had reached such a realm. It seemed that the Cloud Dragon Valley Master had not used much power when he had fought with him in the past. Otherwise, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master would have been able to kill him with a single sword. Damn it, this guy has been low-key for so many years, and his strength has actually reached such a terrifying realm. Yinjing roared in his heart. The experts of the Tianyu demonic sect and the Tianxin sect were also shocked. Lu Ming was also very surprised. Although he had guessed that the Cloud Dragon Valley Master was an absolute saint, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's strength still exceeded his imagination. The battle continued. The three of them fought until they were high up in the sky. Only endless light could be seen, but the three of them could not be seen at all. After fighting for a while, there was a terrible explosion. The light dissipated and the figures of three people appeared. The sect masters of the Tianxin sect and the Tianyu demon sect stood side by side, their faces extremely gloomy. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master held a long sword in his hand as his fighting spirit sword. At this moment, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master was no longer a gentle old man. Instead, he was an expert who ruled the world. His sword glowed with a cold light that traveled 90,000 miles. You can't stop me from killing whoever I want to kill, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, full of confidence. The expression of the sect master of the Heavenly God sect was the ugliest. If he gave the order to deal with the family members of the Dragon God Valley disciples, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master could kill the other disciples of the Tianxin sect. They could not stop him. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was too powerful. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, a loud explosion sounded in the sky. A huge warship flew over at high speed and stopped not far away. Then, a large number of figures flew out from the warship. Each of them was dressed in green robes and emanated a poisonous aura. The sect masters of the Sky Demon sect and the God of Heaven sect were overjoyed. The experts of the Yudu sect had arrived. The one leading the Desire Poison sect was an old man, the sect master of the Desire Poison sect. It's really lively today. The sect master of the Desire Poison sect stepped forward and stood together with the sect masters of the Tianxin sect and the Sky Demon sect. Their auras were overbearing. You guys are really going too far, absolute saint. The Valley Master of Ice Dragon Valley stepped forward and appeared beside the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley. A terrifying aura burst out. He was also an absolute saint. The 5 absolute saints faced each other in the sky, and their auras were extremely oppressive. Everyone was watching nervously. The sect masters of the 3 great sects seemed to be discussing through voice transmission. After a while, the sect master of the God of Heaven sect said, "You can protect Lu Ming for now, but you can't protect him forever. Disciples of the deity sect, listen up. Retreat 100 miles, set up camp, and besiege Dragon God Valley. Once Lu Ming comes out or the other disciples of Dragon God Valley come out, take him down." Yes. The experts of the Heavenly God sect received the order. Disciples of the Tianyu demon sect, listen up. Retreat 100 miles and set up a camp. Desire Poison sect's disciples, hear my order. The sect masters of the Tianyu demon sect and the Yudu sect gave orders one after another. They ordered the experts of the 2 sects to retreat 100 miles and surround Dragon God Valley. The powerhouses of the 3 major sects retreated slowly. Then the sect masters of the 3 major sects cast a cold glance at Lu Ming and retreated as well. The Valley Masters of Cloud Dragon Valley and Ice Dragon Valley looked at each other with worry in their eyes. Disciples of Dragon God Valley, listen up. Send experts to station around Dragon God Valley in case of enemy sneak attacks. And NBSP kill. Ice Dragon Valley Master ordered. Minger, you should go back. You don't have to think too much about this matter. They can't do anything to you. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master appeared beside Lu Ming and said gently, "Yes, Master." Lu Ming nodded and walked towards the Sky Cloud Valley. However, he clenched his fists tightly and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. This trap was difficult to break. Even if he were to hand over Emperor Tsang's storage ring, the Tianxin sect and the other sects would not let the matter rest. That was because it was rumored that he had also obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance. But in fact he didn't get it at all, so he definitely couldn't hand it over. This news must have been spread by Evil Spirit. Evil Spirit knew that Lu Ming did not receive the inheritance and would not hand it over. Therefore, the various sects in the Azure continent would definitely clash. No one would believe Lu Ming even if he explained. I'm still too weak. I must enter the Sage Realm as soon as possible. Lu Ming's gaze was firm. However, entering the Sage Realm was a huge hurdle. Without enough accumulation, it was too difficult to cross in a short time. After returning to the Sky Cloud Valley, Lu Ming fell into deep thought. I have to give it a shot. Lu Ming muttered. He had thought of a way to enter the Sage realm in a short time. That was to merge the main body and the secondary body into one and merge them back into one. The twin forbidden spell mentioned that the main body and the secondary body could be fused again, but once fused, it would be impossible to cultivate the secondary body in the future. This was a great loss. With a secondary body he could do a lot of things. Moreover, a secondary body was like having an extra life. If the main body was killed, he could still survive with the secondary body. But now, if he wanted to enter the Saint realm in a short time, he had to merge the main body and the second body. With the accumulation of the main body and the second body, the two combined was enough to reach the Saint realm. In the current situation, it would be difficult to even protect himself if he did not have the cultivation of a saint. If he reached the Saint realm, his combat strength would increase even more. Let's do this. Lu Ming made up his mind and entered the mountain and river diagram. He came to the foot of the path understanding ancient tree and sat cross-legged under it. The two of them looked at each other and then sat opposite each other. They cast the forbidden spell of twin and began to merge. Chapter 1710. 1710 Fusion of the main body and the secondary body. Lu Ming's main body and secondary body cast the twin forbidden spell at the same time. Their bodies glowed as if they were resonating with each other. Slowly, the main body and secondary body gradually leaned against each other and fused together. It was as if two figures were overlapping. Of course, this process was very slow and couldn't be achieved overnight. It required time. This was because it was not only the body that was fused but also the soul, cultivation and so on. It was very complicated. Time passed day by day. Outside the Dragon God Valley, the Tianshan sect, the Tianyu Demon sect, and the Yudu sect were stationed there. They surrounded the Dragon God Valley and did not allow the disciples to enter or leave. Time flew by and in the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. The three major sects were still stationed outside Dragon God Valley and had no intention of leaving. At this time the atmosphere in Dragon God Valley was getting more and more depressing. With the three major sects sealing off the exit, would the people of Dragon God Valley be trapped like this for the rest of their lives? At this moment, there was a voice in the Dragon God Valley, calling for Lu Ming to be handed over. Lu Ming is selfish. He obtained Emperor Tsang's legacy and treasures and kept them for himself to improve his cultivation and combat strength. In the end, he wants others to pay for him? There are so many people in Dragon God Valley. How can they be implicated by Lu Ming? He's benefited, but others have to die with him. He's hiding and not showing himself, but he has implicated the entire Dragon God Valley. Hand over Lu Ming, and Dragon God Valley will return to its normal state. Such voices became more and more intense. Many people slowly shifted their anger to Lu Ming. They felt that Lu Ming was selfish and that he had benefited from it. In the end, when something happened, he had to hide and let others pay for it. On what basis? Lu Ming, let's see how long you can hide for? The master of Silver Dragon Valley, Yin Zheng, revealed a cold smile. This sound was naturally secretly spread by Yin Zheng's people. Slowly, the other disciples of the Dragon God Valley were incited. They surrounded the Cloud Dragon Valley and demanded that Lu Ming be handed over. Get lost. At the entrance of Cloud Dragon Valley, Yang Tianzong's aura was violent and powerful, causing everyone's face to change. Tian Chui, Xuaningxin and the others were standing on the edge of Yang Tianzong, blocking the entrance to Cloud Dragon Valley. What are you guys doing? Was he bullying the other brothers of the Dragon Valley with his cultivation? The Cloud Dragon Valley sect master is strong, but he can't be so lawless, can he? That's right. Cloud Dragon Valley master, are you going to rely on your cultivation to protect your own disciple and ignore the lives of the other disciples of Dragon God Valley? If you have the ability, kill all the other disciples of the Dragon Valley. A series of cold voices rang out from the crowd. If you have the ability, come out and speak. Yang Tianzong's gaze was like lightning as he scanned the crowd. Those who were caught by his gaze felt a chill down their spine. Although the Cloud Dragon Valley master's cultivation is strong, there are so many of us. We don't have to be afraid of you. The voice rang out again from the crowd. Sowing dissension, you deserve 10,000 deaths. Yang Tianzong hollered and his figure suddenly flashed. He looked down from above and pounced into the crowd. Then, with two miserable shrieks, two figures flew out of the crowd and heavily fell to the ground. They were two young men in silver robes. One of them was Yin Zisong. It's indeed your Silver Dragon Valley who is trying to sow discord. You have unfathomable motives. You deserve to die. Tian Chui shouted. What are you guys doing? Was the Cloud Dragon Valley rebelling? First you covered up for Lu Ming. Now you can't even tell anyone else. If you do, you'll be killed. Don't tell me that Dragon God Valley has become Cloud Dragon Valleys. Silver Pine shouted. You still dare to provoke me? I'll cripple you. Yang Tianzong's eyes were cold as he walked towards the Silver Pine. Stop. The master of Silver Dragon Valley, Yin Zheng, came over with a loud roar. He said coldly, Cloud Dragon Valley, don't go too far. They just said something fair. What bullshit justice? In my opinion, it's you, old dog, who's trying to kill my junior brother Lu Ming. Tian Shui cursed. Audacious. Impudent. Yin Jing shouted. Don't take advantage of your seniority. If you have the ability, then be arrogant in front of my master. I've already sent a message to my master. He'll be here soon. Yang Tianzong said. Yin Zheng's expression changed drastically, his eyes flashing with fear. It seems that your Cloud Dragon Valley is using force to oppress others. You don't care about the other Dragon Valley's people at all. I guess that in your heart, all the other Dragon Valley's people added together are not as important as one person from your Cloud Dragon Valley, right? In this case, I have nothing to say. You can kill my people of Silver Dragon Valley if you want. After Yin Zheng finished speaking, he waved his sleeves and left. The other disciples of the Dragon Valley looked terrible. This old man is extremely sinister. He must be killed, Xuanixin said through gritted teeth. Yin Zheng's words were clearly to sow discord between the other Dragon Valley and the Cloud Dragon Valley. He wanted to use the other Dragon Valley's people to force the Cloud Dragon Valley to hand over Lu Ming. Under such circumstances, they naturally couldn't kill Yin Zisong and the others. Otherwise, Dragon God Valley would really have an internal conflict. Get lost. Yang Tianzong threw the two of them out. The conflict in Dragon God Valley was getting more and more intense. Lu Ming was still in seclusion in the mountain and river diagram. After 3 months, Lu Ming's main body and secondary body had completely fused together and became one. Boom. At this moment, a deafening boom came from Lu Ming's body. His soul had also fused into one at this moment. The fusion of the two souls caused Lu Ming's soul force to skyrocket. It was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, but it had increased by several times. Saint Heart condense. When Lu Ming's soul fused into one, he felt that it was time to break through to the Saint realm. He growled and the law circulated. He began to use the power of the laws to temper his vital essence and condense his Saint Heart. However, the strange thing was that there were two types of laws circulating on Lu Ming's body. The Chaos laws and the Array Dao laws circulated without interfering with each other. One tempered true essence while the other tempered mental energy fire. In Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, the brilliant mental energy fire condensed into a ball and surged toward Lu Ming's dantian. In the end, the mental energy fire entered Lu Ming's dantian and floated near the spiritual god. Then, it began to roll, and under the effect of the Array Dao law, it began to transform into a Saint Heart. At the same time, the spiritual god also began to change. Within the spiritual god, there was a shadow that was slowly leaving the spiritual god. Could be seen that the shadow looked exactly like the spiritual god in Lu Ming. This was Lu Ming's soul. Before the Saint realm, a person's soul had no physical form. Or rather, it didn't have a soul at all. It only had spiritual will. However, after a martialist broke through to the spiritual god realm, their spiritual will would be completely integrated into the spiritual god, and they would begin to nurture their soul. Actually, the spirit god's greatest use was to nurture the soul. In this aspect, it was very similar to Mind Fire. Mind Fire also had the effect of nurturing the soul. The spiritual god realm and the martial emperor realm were both nurturing the soul. When one broke through to the Saint realm, the soul would be completely formed. Then, it could leave the spiritual god realm and enter one's sea of consciousness. In the future, as one's cultivation improved, the soul would slowly become stronger. Chapter 1711. 1711 Breaking through to the sage realm. As one's cultivation increased, one's soul would become stronger and stronger. It was said that when one reached a certain realm, even if one's body was destroyed, one's soul would still exist in this world. One could even use the heaven and earth energy to form a new body at any time. At this point, he had truly reached the realm of immortality. As long as the soul was not destroyed, one would not die. However, Lu Ming still had a long way to go before he could reach this realm. Because he had just broken through to the sage realm, his soul had just taken shape. It couldn't even leave his body, as it would be torn apart by the energy of heaven and earth. The soul and the spirit god were completely different. The spirit god was actually condensed from essential core, but the soul was not. It was nurtured by Lu Ming's spiritual will. It was extremely mysterious and related to the secret of immortality. Slowly, the soul left the spiritual god and turned into a ray of light, rushing into Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. He sat cross-legged in his sea of consciousness. After the soul was separated from the spirit god began to transform into a saint heart under the effect of the law of chaos. The saint heart used the laws as the core and the saint power as the foundation. In the future, as the laws grew stronger, the saint heart could evolve into a small world. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. 2 saint hearts appeared in Lu Ming's dantian. One of them was filled with chaotic qi as if it was nurturing a universe. As for the other one, it was covered with strange runes, causing one to feel as if they were about to sink into it, unable to extricate themselves. I actually have 2 saint hearts. Lu Ming himself was also dumbfounded. As far as he knew, other people only had 1 saint heart, no matter if they cultivated the inscription Tao or martial arts. This was because one person could only comprehend one law at the half-saint stage. In fact, at the martial saint stage, one person could only comprehend one law at most. One could only comprehend many laws when they reached the martial supreme realm. As for the saint heart, it was condensed on the basis of laws. As Lu Ming had cultivated the twin forbidden spell, his main body and secondary body had each comprehended a law. Therefore, after the fusion he had cultivated 2 sacred hearts. The 2 saint hearts were like twins spinning around each other. Then in the future won't I be able to cultivate 2 small worlds? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. An NBSP hoo-hoo. At this moment Lu Ming felt a strong wind blowing around him. Endless smoke suddenly appeared in the surroundings, shrouding Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming felt as if he had entered a strange land. The environment between heaven and earth had changed. This is the saint realm inner demon tribulation. Lu Ming's expression changed. Of course, there was a great trial to break through to the saint realm. However, the saint realm great trial was different from the past. It was not a lightning trial but an inner demon trial. The demon heart tribulation was even more terrifying than the lightning tribulation. Everyone had their own inner demons. If they couldn't overcome their inner demon tribulation, then they would disappear under it. Since ancient times, countless geniuses had failed at the last step and died under the inner demon tribulation. However, Lu Ming had experienced 9 lives in the tomb of the reincarnation emperor in the 100 clan battlefield. His mind was so firm and condensed that the inner demon tribulation could not touch him at all. In just half a day, Lu Ming had successfully transcended his inner demon tribulation. When Lu Ming overcame the inner demon tribulation, a strange force between heaven and earth surged into Lu Ming's body. One had to know that this was the mountain and river diagram, but this force directly passed through it. At that moment, the mental energy and essential core in Lu Ming's body began to undergo a qualitative change and began to transform into saint energy. An NBSP hoo-hoo. Then, the endless origin chi in the mountain and river diagram gathered towards Lu Ming's body. Raw gemstones. I need a large number of raw gemstones. With a single thought from Lu Ming, large piles of raw gemstones appeared and exploded one after another, turning into extremely dense original chi that surged into Lu Ming's body, constantly refining into wisps of saint power. There was more and more saint energy in Lu Ming's body. Not long after, the original mental energy and essential core had been completely transformed into saint energy. However, the absorption of the original chi did not stop. There was still more original chi being absorbed and transformed into saint energy. Lu Ming had 2 saint hearts. The saint power produced by 2 saint hearts was too powerful. At the same time, it required more raw gemstones. Lu Ming had already devoured countless raw gemstones. There were at least several billion pieces of medium-grade raw gemstones. At this moment, the saint energy in Lu Ming's body had finally reached its saturation point. The sage state. Lu Ming had finally entered the sage state and became a sage. Although he was only at the initial stages of the sage enlightenment realm, he was on a completely different level from before. Is this the saint energy? It's so powerful. Lu Ming carefully sensed the holy power that was jumping around in his body. He felt that it was filled with endless power and was many times stronger than before. Saint energy was much stronger than Zhenyuan. For the same amount of energy, saint energy was at least 10 times stronger than Zhenyuan. This was a qualitative change. No wonder the saint realm was so powerful. It was almost impossible to cross realms and kill saints without being a saint. Unless one was like Lu Ming, who had extremely powerful laws and spirit bodies, one could not do it. Otherwise, once the saint power was used, it would be as easy as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, and the true essence could not resist it at all. Also, my soul power, what level has it reached? Lu Ming carefully sensed the soul in his sea of consciousness. He could feel that his soul force had increased by dozens of times. He had a feeling that if he were to use the divine sword technique now, he could easily tear apart the soul of a perfected or even a pinnacle bright saint. This time, Lu Ming's combat strength had undergone a huge change and he had achieved a qualitative breakthrough. If Lu Ming had broken through normally, he would not have had such a great improvement. The main reason was that the fusion of the main body and the second body not only increased his soul force but also cultivated two saint hearts. Therefore Lu Ming could not estimate it. Perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a sharp glint. Now that I've broken through to the saint realm, I should be able to enter the primal chaos palace. Lu Ming revealed a look of anticipation. Back when he had obtained the chaos scripture from the primal chaos hall, Earth One had told him that if he wanted their help, he had to at least break through the saint realm and become a saint. Now Lu Ming had already broken through to the saint realm. Although Earth One and Gold One were puppets, their strength was absolutely unfathomable and difficult to measure. If he could get the help of Earth One and the others, it would not be difficult to solve the siege of Dragon God Valley. With a thought, the chaos token appeared in his hand. Then he poured his saint power into it. Buzz. The chaos token buzzed and emitted a brilliant light. Then a beam of light formed and enveloped Lu Ming. He felt that he was being carried by an irresistible force. It was as if he was traveling through the void, heading in a certain direction. After an unknown period of time, the space trembled. Lu Ming realized that he had arrived in a grand hall. Primal Chaos Hall. He had finally returned to this place. The space in front of him rippled, and a few figures appeared. They were Earth One and Gold One. Young Master. Earth One, Gold One, and the rest saluted Lu Ming when they saw him. Seniors, long time no see. Lu Ming returned the greeting. The young master has finally broken through to the sage realm. Earth One's gaze was like lightning as he looked at Lu Ming, as if he could see through him. Chapter 1712. 1712. The body of chaos. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. Back then, when he was a spirit god, he only felt that 2E and the others were unfathomable and difficult to fathom. Now that he saw it, he still felt the same. However, Lu Ming was even more delighted. The stronger Earth One and the rest were, the more help they would be to him. Seniors, now that Lu Ming has broken through to the sage state, can you all go out and help him? Lu Ming said. Earth One, Gold One, and the others looked at each other. Earth One then shook his head and said, Young Master, it was possible in the past, but I'm afraid not now. No, why not? Lu Ming's expression changed. Because you're not the only young master of chaos now. Earth One sighed. Not just me? What do you mean? Lu Ming was puzzled. Could it be that after Lu Ming, there was another person who met the requirements and passed the test? However, the chaos scripture had already been passed on to Lu Ming. Even if someone came later, they should not be able to get the chaos scripture, right? How did he become the young master of the primal chaos hall? Young master, another person came after you, but he didn't come because he cultivated 5 different wills or domains. It's because of his body. His body is the chaotic body. Gold One explained. Chaotic body. Lu Ming was shocked. The chaotic body was only a constitution of legend. Could it be that there really was such a constitution in the world? It's truly unbelievable. The chaotic body is something that only appears once in countless years. In truth, the Arch had the chaotic body, so the chaotic body is the most suitable for inheriting the Thearch's legacy. However, the young master has already obtained the chaos scripture. When the chaotic body arrived, he did not obtain the chaos scripture. However, the other party has the chaotic body. It's hard to find one in countless years. He's too compatible with the venerable sovereign back then. Since he's here, we've all discussed and decided to let him become one of the young masters of the primal chaos hall. Thus, in the future, only one of you will be able to truly control the primal chaos hall. Earth One explained. So you're saying that it'll have to compete with the chaotic body in the future, and only the one who wins will be able to control the primal chaos palace? Lu Ming said. That's right. Only the winner can truly take control of the primal chaos hall. Therefore, before the winner is determined, we will not go out with either of you, nor will we help either of you. Earth One said. Lu Ming felt helpless. He did not expect to encounter such a thing. He knew very well that the chaotic body was the same as the chaotic Thearch's body. It was the most suitable body to inherit the chaotic Arch and control the chaotic palace. If Lu Ming had not come first and obtained the chaos scripture, 2E and the others would have definitely chosen the chaotic body. Young Master, this subordinate would like to remind you that the chaotic Boda's current cultivation level is far higher than Young Master's. His battle prowess is even greater, and he's invincible among those of the same level. He doesn't have the chaos scripture, but because he has the chaotic body, he has also cultivated the laws of chaos. His goal is to take your chaos scripture, Young Master. You must be extremely careful when you encounter him outside. Earth 1 reminded. 2E, don't cross the line. Our principle is not to help either side. Gold 1 reminded him. I was just giving you a casual reminder. I didn't mean to help you. Alright, Young Master, I'll send you back now. I hope that the next time I come, I'll still be the Young Master. Earth 1 smiled and waved his hand. A powerful force acted on Lu Ming and he disappeared from the Chaos Hall. 2E, you seem to be more optimistic about Lu Ming? Gold 1's entire body was golden, like a statue of gold. His voice was cold and emotionless. No, I didn't. Earth 1 shook his head and sighed. We've waited for countless years, and finally Lu Ming has come and inherited the venerable sovereign's legacy. However, we didn't expect that another chaotic body would appear. We didn't expect that after the venerable sovereign, another chaotic body would appear in the world. Such a heaven-defying body just had to appear at this time. It seems that the great era is coming. I'm afraid the Tianyuan world will welcome a golden age. That's right. Let's see what happens. If Lu Ming really encounters the body of chaos, he will most likely be defeated. However, this child is very lucky. Even you and I can't see through his fate. I'm afraid that things are not that simple. Let's just watch. After Gold 1 spoke, the hall fell silent. Lu Ming felt the world spinning around him. Not long after, he was back at the mountain and river diagram. The chaotic body? Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. This trip was indeed beyond Lu Ming's expectations. He thought that he could ask Earth 1 and the rest for help, but it seemed that he could only rely on himself now. Then let's have a good fight. Lu Ming muttered. Then he exited the mountain and river diagram and stepped out of the Cloud Dragon Valley. When Lu Ming arrived at the entrance of Cloud Dragon Valley, he found a large number of people gathered there. Lu Ming has come out. Someone shouted and everyone's eyes turned to Lu Ming. Humph, he finally couldn't hold it in and came out. He's monopolizing the treasure and hiding himself, leaving the danger to us. He wants us to fight for him. Why should he? He's selfish and doesn't care about the lives of the others in Dragon God Valley. I've never seen such a shameless person. Make him hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures to resolve the crisis of Dragon God Valley. In the crowd, there were people constantly shouting, causing the crowd to be enraged. Sowing discord again. Yang Tianzong's eyes were like lightning. Bus. At this moment, Lu Ming's figure suddenly darted out. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the neck of a silver-robed young man, lifting him up. It's your Silver Dragon Valley again. You're sowing dissension. You must be killed. Lu Ming's voice was cold. Lu Ming, what are you doing? Don't tell me you won't let us talk about what you did. If you have the ability, kill everyone in the Divine Dragon Valley. The disciple of Silver Dragon Valley shouted. That's right. Lu Ming, let him go. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because of your cultivation. The other disciples of Dragon God Valley shouted. You selfish man. I will capture you now and hand you over to the other sects. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared behind Lu Ming and clawed at Lu Ming's shoulder. It was a white-haired old man with an extremely profound cultivation. With a single claw, his saint might was vast and his saint power burst forth. He was actually a powerhouse at the peak of the Bright Saint stage. It was obvious that an elder of Silver Dragon Valley had seized the opportunity to capture Lu Ming while the crowd was still angry. Then he had asked everyone to hand Lu Ming over. His claws were very fast and shockingly fast as he approached Lu Ming at an extreme speed. He did not believe that Lu Ming could avoid it. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was strong and he had killed the Divine Sun at the fixed treasure auction, he was still very powerful. However, the Divine Sun was only a perfected Bright Saint after all, while he was at the peak of a Bright Saint. It was a sudden attack and Lu Ming would definitely not be able to dodge it. However, at the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank because Lu Ming suddenly turned around and looked at him with a sword-like gaze. The next moment, he felt a tearing pain in his soul and his sea of consciousness. Bang! Then Lu Ming's big hand grabbed his throat and pressed him to the ground. Chapter 1713. 1713 Challenging the Three Great Sects. Boom. The ground trembled violently. The entire Cloud Dragon Valley seemed to be shaking. The ice layer that was as hard as diamond on the ground shattered. The elder of Silver Dragon Valley smashed a big hole in the ground. He lay there, spitting out blood and twitching like a dead dog. At this moment, the entire place was silent. Everyone's eyes were wide open as they looked at this scene in disbelief. Many people's throats seemed to be stuck by something. They kept squirming, but they couldn't say a word. This was because many people recognized that the elder was an extremely powerful elder of Silver Dragon Valley. He was at the peak of the Bright Saint realm. However, he was like a dead dog in Lu Ming's hands. He could not even withstand a single blow. Lu Ming, this was too abnormal. Even Yang Qianzong, Tian Shui and the others were dumbfounded. Who else wants to make a move? Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he scanned the surroundings. Those who were caught by his gaze were shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. Lu Ming, you can only fight your own people here. If you're so capable, go and fight the people of the Deity Sect and the Tianyu Demon Sect. A silver-robed youth mustered his courage and shouted. Lu Ming looked at the person, causing the person to shrink back and retreat. He avoided Lu Ming's eyes, not daring to look him in the eye. It seems that you're quite bold. All right, do you want to come with me? Lu Ming said indifferently. The man mumbled. If you don't have the guts, then shut up, go. Lu Ming shouted. He then rose into the air and flew in the direction of the Dragon God Valley. Is Lu Ming really going to fight the people from the Deity Sect, the Tianyu Demonic Sect, and the Yudu Sect? Let's go and take a look. The crowd followed Lu Ming out of Dragon God Valley. Yang Qianzong, Tian Shui, and the others exchanged glances and followed. The entrance of Dragon God Valley was guarded by many masters of Dragon God Valley. The masters of the 7 valleys were all there. Lu Ming's arrival attracted a lot of attention. Ming, you've broken through? The Cloud Dragon Valley master's gaze fell on Lu Ming. His eyes suddenly lit up and he looked pleasantly surprised. Yes, master, I just broke through. Lu Ming nodded. Good. As expected of the person who killed the divine child. And NBSP Ice Dragon Valley Master also stepped forward, a smile on his face. Master, Valley Master, I have a plan that might be able to force the 3 great sects to retreat. Then Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to the Valley Masters of Cloud Dragon Valley and Ice Dragon Valley. Ming, are you really confident? After hearing Lu Ming's words, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master looked surprised and worried. The eyes of the Ice Dragon Valley Master also flickered. It was clear that his state of mind was fluctuating and he was extremely shocked. There are. Lu Ming's answer was very firm. All right, then Master will protect you. The Valley Master said. Add this old man. Valley Master Ice Dragon stroked his long beard and laughed. Thank you, Master, Valley Master. Lu Ming saluted and then strode out of Dragon God Valley. He passed through the sect protecting array and walked forward step by step. Lu Ming really went out. Many people were shocked. Yin Zheng, on the other hand, had a smug look in his eyes. Valley Master and the others have also gone out. Someone exclaimed. At that moment, the Valley Masters of Ice Dragon Valley and Cloud Dragon Valley were following Lu Ming forward. When Lu Ming left Dragon God Valley, the Tianshan Sect, Tianyu Demonic Sect, and Yudu Sect naturally saw him. Immediately, many experts flew toward Lu Ming and stopped not far away from him. The 2 parties stood in the air. Lu Ming, you finally come out. Have you thought it through and decided to hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures? The sect master of the Heavenly God Sect spoke. How about I make a bet with you? Lu Ming smiled faintly. A bet? The sect masters of the Sky God Sect, Sky Universe God Sect, and the others were stunned. What was Lu Ming up to? However, with so many of them here, Lu Ming would not be able to come up with any tricks. Bet on what? What do you want to bet on? The sect master of the Heavenly God Sect spoke. Let's bet on Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. I challenge the 3 sects' bright sages. As long as you're in the bright sages' realm, you can fight me. If I lose, he'll hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. If you lose, you'll go back to where you came from. How about it? Lu Ming said. This was his plan. It was a bet with the other party, and it depended on whether the other party had the confidence to take it. You have indeed obtained Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon Sect said with a greedy look in his eyes. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He knew very well that even if he denied it strongly, the other party would not let it go. It was useless to deny it. He might as well admit it directly and take a gamble with the other party. Do you guys dare to bet or not? If you want to capture me and search my soul, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Before you capture me, I can still kill myself. At that time you won't get anything. Lu Ming's voice was cold. The eyes of the sect masters of the Tianxin sect, the Tianyu demon sect and the Yudu sect flickered. What do you guys think? The sect master of the heavenly god sect sent a message to the other two. I guess this kid has already broken through to the sage realm. The sect master of the sky demon sect said. So what if you've broken through to the sage realm? Just breaking through to the saint plane? Was he already invincible among the saint plane? He's underestimating us. The desire poison sect master laughed coldly. Although Lu Ming's combat strength was strong, the three major sects had a long history and they had accumulated many bright sages. Over the long years, there were many people with high-grade earth spiritual bodies who had broken through to the sage state. Moreover, some of them had been stuck in the great circle of the bright sage stage for a long time. Some of them had even cultivated superpowers and their combat strength was extremely powerful. No matter how powerful Lu Ming was, he had just broken through to the sage state. How could he be a match for these old monsters? The sect master of the Tianxin sect and the others also thought of this point. After some discussion they all nodded. To be able to easily obtain Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures, why not? Alright, we agree. The sect master of the heavenly god sect said. Alright, which one of you will fight? Lu Ming's body exuded a strong fighting spirit. I'll do it. In the Yudu sect's area, a thin middle-aged man stepped out, exuding a powerful aura. A peak bright saint. He came to Lu Ming and the two of them stood opposite each other. At this time the people of Dragon God Valley were also shocked. Lu Ming actually wanted to challenge all the bright saints of the three major sections. How was this possible? It was unbelievable. Everyone watched with wide eyes. Boom. At this moment, Lu Ming's body exploded with a shocking aura. The vast saint might shot into the sky. The sage state. Lu Ming has broken through to the sage state. How terrifying. How long has it been since he broke through to the sage realm? How can he be so fast? He was only at the second stage of the half-saint realm in the treasure-fixing assembly a year ago. He only broke through the third stage after fighting with the divine sun. How could he break through to the saint realm so quickly? Many people were shocked and started to discuss. Could it be because of Emperor Tsang's treasure? When many people thought of this, their eyes became even more fiery. It must be. Many people thought that Lu Ming had broken through so quickly because of Emperor Tsang's treasure. Chapter 1714. 1714 Chapter 1714 Slaying powerful enemies in the void, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, the Ice Cold Valley Master, the Sect Master of the Deity Sect, and the others all retreated, leaving enough space for Lu Ming and the other man. Kill, kill. The skinny middle-aged man from the Yudu sect shouted. His body moved and he charged towards Lu Ming. With a wave of his hand, a stream of toxic gas formed into the shape of a long spear and shot towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's palm glowed and the black dragon spear appeared. He thrust the spear forward and the spear's radiance was dazzling. It shattered the long spear formed by the opponent's poisonous gas. However, after the poisonous gas dispersed, a dense swarm of poisonous insects appeared and rushed toward Lu Ming. Exterminate, die, Lu Ming shouted. The black dragon spear swept out and expanded to 100,000 feet. The terrifying power crushed down and all the poisonous insects were turned into ashes. Buzz. Lu Ming took a step forward and closed in on the thin middle-aged man in an instant. His long spear was thrust out like lightning. It was so fast that it was beyond the reaction of the naked eye. Bang. And NBSP, the thin middle-aged man's body was pierced by the spear and his body exploded. However, after he exploded, he turned into a ball of poison gas and rolled around. Lu Ming, your combat strength is very strong, but I also have a superior grade earth spiritual body. It's useless against me. The thin middle-aged man's cold voice came from the poisonous gas. There was no doubt that this thin middle-aged man was a heaven's favorite when he was young. His spirit body was of a very high level. In fact, those who could break through to the sage realm were very talented when they were young. Their spirit bodies were not low. It was usually difficult for ordinary spirit bodies to break through to the saint realm unless they had a heaven-defying opportunity. Those who could break through to the saint realm usually had an earth spiritual body or above. Of course, the higher the level of the spiritual body, the higher the chance of breaking through. Thousand poison exterminate. The thin middle-aged man's voice rang out. Endless poisonous gas rolled and surged towards Lu Ming. A foul smell rushed into Lu Ming's nose. This poisonous gas contained the law of poison and was extremely terrifying. Just a wisp of it could poison thousands of living beings to death. It's not like I haven't killed anyone with a mere poisonous body, Lu Ming said coldly. A huge chaos sky-turning seal appeared in his hand. This chaos Empyrean seal was as large as a mountain, and it pressed down on the endless poisonous gas. Now that Lu Ming had broken through to the Saint Realm, his Saint energy was surging and he could cast the chaos sky-turning seal at will. Before the breakthrough, if Lu Ming used the chaos sky-turning seal with all his might, he would run out of essential core if he used it too much. However, this problem did not exist now. Boom. The chaotic sky-turning seal pressed down, and the poison kept rolling. The chaotic laws were constantly wiping out the other party's poisonous gas. What happened? You should die. The other party panicked. The poison kept rolling and he wanted to escape, but he had been completely locked on by the chaos sky-turning seal. How could he escape? The terrifying power was constantly obliterating the other party. No, no, no! The other party panicked and shouted in fear, but it was useless. The poisonous gas was getting less and less. After the last scream, all the poisonous gas had been wiped out. The thin middle-aged man vanished into thin air. Umph. The Desire Poison sect master snorted coldly, his expression unsightly. This kid's battle strength is indeed shocking. The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon sect said with a dark expression. He had just broken through to the Saint Realm, but he was already able to kill a peak bright saint. It was truly shocking. Who wants to fight? Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he scanned the people from the three major sections. I'm here to kill you. In the Tianyu demon sect, a black-robed elder stepped out. With every step he took, his aura grew stronger. When he was in front of Lu Ming, his aura was overwhelming and overbearing. Great Circle of Bright Saint. The elder had already reached the Great Circle of the Bright Saint Realm, standing at the limit of the Bright Saint Realm. The next step would be the Supreme Saint Realm. And needless to say, the other party's spiritual body was definitely a superior Earth spiritual body. Since he was going to fight, he was definitely very strong among his peers. Everyone's gaze fell on Lu Ming and the elder of the Tianyu demon sect. This was a perfected bright saint. His combat strength was several times stronger than a peak bright saint. Was Lu Ming a match for him? Lu Ming was only an initial bright saint. Could he cross so many realms and fight a perfected bright saint? Boom. The elder from the Tianyu demonic sect was filled with demonic chi. A demonic blade appeared in his hand. Demonic blade 6 kills. The terrifying demonic blade burst out, crossing the space and slashing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming held the black dragon spear and swept it across. A huge spear light collided with the demonic blade. Boom. Heaven and earth trembled as the spear and blade auras both collapsed. However, the demonic blade in the hands of the elder from the Tianyu demonic sect slashed out again. This time he slashed 6 times in a row. Each slash turned into a huge demonic god that was 10,000 feet tall and charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming put away his black dragon spear and cast the Chaos Sky-Turning Seal. With a wave of his hand, Chaos Empyrean seals formed in the sky one after another. A total of 6 Chaos Empyrean seals were formed, and they suppressed the 6 demon gods. The demonic god let out a long roar, and a terrifying pressure filled the sky. It was as if the real demonic god had descended to the world and wanted to slaughter all life. The demonic god's fists continued to blast the Chaos Sky-Turning Seal. Boom, boom, boom. The demonic energy was shocking. The demonic fist blasted on the Chaos Empyrean Seal, and it sounded like a world-ending drum. In the end, the Chaos Sky-Turning Seal exploded, but the 6 demon gods also fell apart. Kill? The laws of chaos circulated around Lu Ming's body. Like a stream of light, he charged toward the elder of the Tianyu demon sect. 2 sword gleams shot out of his eyes and rushed into the elder's body. Ark! The old man from the Tianyu demon sect let out a blood-curdling screech. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets and his aura was in chaos. Bus! Lu Ming instantly appeared beside the elder from the Sky Demon sect. He struck out with his palm, breaking through his layers of defense and grabbing his throat. Everyone gasped in disbelief. It was unbelievable that Lu Ming could defeat a perfected bright saint so easily. How could Lu Ming be so powerful? He was only an initial bright saint, yet he could easily defeat a great circle bright saint. Lu Ming's eyes were as cold as a blade as he looked at the sect master of the Sky Demon sect. I've been tolerating the Tianyu demonic sect, but you've pushed me too far. Today I'll kill you. As soon as he said the word kill, a terrifying force exploded. The body of the elder from the Tianyu demon sect was torn apart. At the same time his soul was destroyed. A saint heart fell into Lu Ming's hands. From now on he would no longer tolerate the Sky Demon sect. The Sky Universe sect master's eyes were extremely cold. The sect masters of the Heaven Deity sect and the Desire Poison sect were the same. The three great sects were silent. The Dragon God Valley was also quiet. At such a young age, Lu Ming was already able to kill a great circle bright saint like an invincible god of war. Was this really a realm and achievement that could be achieved by relying on Emperor Tsong's inheritance and treasures? Even when Emperor Tsong was young he was far from being this strong, right? I'm afraid that other than Emperor Tsong's treasure, this kid has an even greater opportunity. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect spoke coldly and transmitted a message to the two sect masters of the Heaven God sect and the Yudu sect. Chapter 1715. 1715 Chapter 1715 Sacred Art. The two sect masters of the Heaven Deity sect and the Desire Poison sect nodded their heads. The greed in their eyes grew even stronger. Indeed they had thought of this as well. The opportunities that Lu Ming obtained most likely did not only belong to Emperor Tsong. There might be even greater opportunities. Otherwise he would not be so powerful. They had to get it. What should we do now? This brat's soul power is too strong. Ordinary people can't resist his soul attack. The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon sect frowned. I'll do it. At this moment an old man in white robes stepped out from the Tianxin sect. This old man was very old. His hair was almost all gone and the wrinkles on his face were like mountains. Elder Mo Kong, I'm relieved that you're going. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect revealed a happy expression. So it's Senior Mo Kong. The sect masters of the Desire Poison sect and the Sky Demon sect both had their eyes lit up. Mo Kong was a very senior saint. He was 1 or 2 times older than the other sect leaders and had cultivated for more than 100,000 years. However, due to his limited talent, he had been stuck in the Bright Saint realm all his life. However, Mo Kong's power could not be denied. After living for so long, who knew what tricks he had up his sleeve? Moreover, one thing was for sure. After living for such a long time, his soul force must have reached an astonishing level. He did not need to be afraid of Lu Ming's soul attack. Mo Kong smiled and stepped forward to Lu Ming. Little fellow, I will not show any mercy when I attack. Why don't you obediently hand over Emperor Tsong's inheritance and treasures? I can spare your life, Mo Kong said. His voice was very old and his muddy eyes looked at Lu Ming. Let's see if you have the ability to do so, Lu Ming said. He was highly focused. He would not let his guard down just because the other party was old. In fact, at the level of the Saint realm, the older one was, the more terrifying they were. Little fellow's heart is higher than the sky, then this old man will grind down your spirit. At that moment, Mo Kong's murky eyes were no longer murky. Instead, they shone with a shocking light. Brilliant saint light emanated from his body. It was shocking. Divine ability. Holy light cut. Mo Kong said in a low voice. He waved his hand casually, and the endless holy light turned into extremely sharp ribbons. These ribbons were very long and swept through the void. They seemed to have suddenly appeared around Lu Ming's body and enveloped him. Not good, it's a divine ability. Be careful. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's expression changed as he cried out in alarm. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect and the others were ecstatic. Mo Kong had actually cultivated a divine art. He was indeed an old monster who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years. It was difficult for ordinary people in the Bright Saint realm to successfully cultivate the divine power technique unless they were peerless geniuses. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, but its power was also extremely shocking. Those who had cultivated a sacred art could easily kill those of the same level who had not. The terrifying ribbon of holy light enveloped Lu Ming. The edge of the ribbon was extremely sharp and seemed to be able to cut through everything. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. A few electric lights lit up on his body and 2 holy weapon shields flew out, blocking the front and back of him. Bus. And NBSP whoosh. When the ribbons of holy light struck the shield, a shocking scene occurred. The shield was immediately covered in cracks. If this continued, the shield would be cut open very soon. What a terrifying cutting power. Even a holy weapon would be cut open. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect and the others smiled. They were sure to win. Once the magical power was used, there was no doubt that Lu Ming would not be a match. The Valley Masters of Cloud Dragon Valley and Ice Dragon Valley paid full attention to the situation. If Lu Ming was in danger, they would do their best to save him. The others all held their breath and stared at the scene. Haha, Lu Ming, this kid has no chance. Yinjing's eyes were filled with joy. Mo Kong was in the great circle of the Bright Saint stage and had cultivated a sacred art. He was almost invincible in the Bright Saint stage, at least in the Azure continent. Spells are indeed powerful. I wonder how much this old man has cultivated it. I don't think it's too high. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. Chaos. A chaos sky-turning seal appeared in Lu Ming's palm and he smashed it at the holy light ribbons. Boom. The holy light ribbon trembled violently, but it cut the chaos sky-turning stamp even more intensely. With an ear-piercing sound, the chaos sky-turning seal was actually cut into deep ravines. Finally, with a bang, it exploded. Again. In Lu Ming's hands, the chaos sky-turning seal was formed continuously and blasted at the holy light ribbons. Boom. Boom. The chaos sky-turning stamp kept colliding with the holy light ribbons, and terrible rumbles kept sounding. It's useless. You can't break my divine art. Mo Kong said, but his eyes were solemn. He kept waving his hands and more holy light ribbons appeared. They danced and completely enveloped Lu Ming like a cocoon. From the outside, one could see that some parts of the cocoon were constantly bulging, as if something was about to rush out from inside. From inside, the sound of explosions could be heard. In the blink of an eye, a few minutes had passed, but the vibration of the ribbon continued to ring out. He's still resisting. This kid's combat strength is really amazing. The sect master of the Tianxin sect said. Even an overlord like him was shocked. I must get rid of this brat after I obtain his secret. Otherwise, it'll be in endless trouble. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect said coldly. The sect leaders of the other two sects nodded. Indeed, Lu Ming already had such combat power now. If he reached the Absolute Saint realm in the future, who in the Azure continent would be his match? Magical powers are indeed mysterious and powerful. However, I can only use 10% of it at most. In the holy light ribbon, Lu Ming's expression was very calm. He was just testing the waters. This was the first time he was going up against a magical power technique, so he naturally had to study it carefully. That was because he could now cultivate superpower techniques. In the Chaos Scripture, there was a terrifying superpower technique called the Chaos Tribulation Finger, which could exert the power of the Chaos laws to the extreme. In addition, there were also divine abilities in the memories of the 9 dragons. This was the direction of his future cultivation. It's almost time. At this moment, Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a sharp glint. In his dantian, the 2 saint hearts glowed and started to spin crazily. The saint power in his body surged. The laws of chaos circulated all over his body. Lu Ming threw a punch at the holy light ribbon, and a huge prison-suppressing steel appeared. Boom. The holy light ribbons trembled wildly, then exploded with loud bangs. In the blink of an eye, the holy light ribbons were all destroyed. Lu Ming's slender figure reappeared in front of everyone. Impossible. Mo Kong roared and spat out a mouthful of blood. He was forced to retreat. His old eyes were filled with disbelief. His divine power technique was actually broken by Lu Ming. How could a junior who had just broken through to the Bright Saint realm break through his sacred art? Chapter 1716. 1716 The Invincible Bright Saint, nothing is impossible. Kill. Die. Lu Ming shouted and cast the divine sword technique. 2 sword lights pierced Mo Kong's glabella, penetrating his soul in his sea of consciousness. However, Mo Kong's body only trembled for a moment before he recovered. This old man's soul is really strong. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He used the thundering wind steps and rushed towards Mo Kong, striking out with his palm. Mo Kong roared and formed a spear of God's punishment in his hand. He thrust it at Lu Ming, but the spear exploded when it collided with Lu Ming's palm. Lu Ming's palm did not stop. Mo Kong's expression changed drastically. Laws gathered on his palm and he used it to block. Bang. Mo Kong's body was sent flying. One of his palms exploded and he spat out blood. Kill. Lu Ming stepped into the air and charged at Mo Kong, his eyes as cold as a knife. Since he was an enemy, he would not show mercy just because the other party was old. Divine power, holy light cutting. Mo Kong used his divine power again. The holy light ribbon swept out, but it was once again shattered by Lu Ming's palm and continued to attack his opponent. Mo Kong retreated frantically, not daring to confront Lu Ming head-on. The entire place was silent. Lu Ming could actually defeat a perfected bright saint who had mastered a sacred art and chased after him to the point where he did not dare to meet him. His combat power had already exceeded everyone's imagination. The Azure Continent's bright saint was invincible. With such combat power, who else in the Tsang state could fight against the bright saint? Enough. At this time a cold voice was heard. The sect master of the heavenly god sect waved his hand with a cold face. A stream of saint power swept Mokong back to the heavenly god sect's camp. Lu Ming also stopped in his tracks. He's been defeated. Who else from your three sects will come out to fight? Lu Ming said. The experts of the three sects were silent. Even Mo Kong had been defeated, who else could fight? The other sects might also have old monsters who had lived for a long time, but their combat strength was at most on par with Mo Kong. Even if they were to fight, they would not be Lu Ming's match. For a moment, no one from the three sects came out to fight. The scene was deathly silent. It seems that you have admitted defeat. Since no one is going to fight according to the agreement, you all have to retreat. Lu Ming said as he stared at the three sect leaders. What a joke. Why should we retreat? The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon sect sneered, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. You guys agreed to it just now and there were countless witnesses. Are you guys going back on your word? Lu Ming said coldly. Of course we won't go back on our word. But what we agreed to bet with you just now was Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. If we win, you hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. If you win, we will back out. But it's only a bet on Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. Now, we suspect that you have other inheritances and treasures on you. Hand them over. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect sneered. You're despicable and shameless, you're quibbling. The Cloud Dragon Valley master roared. Haha, so this is how shameless you are. As the head of a sect, you're really shameless to the extreme. Lu Ming laughed out loud. He really did not expect the other party to be so shameless. Nonsense, since you've come out, don't go back. Die. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect shouted coldly. With a wave of his hand, a huge demonic claw swiped at Lu Ming. A terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming like Mount Tai. Break! Lu Ming roared and burst out with all his might. He threw a punch at the void behind him. The void seemed to be broken by Lu Ming's power as he retreated rapidly. Buzz! At this moment, a sword light shot into the sky. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master made his move and slashed open the demonic claw with his sword. Let's attack together and take down Lu Ming. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect shouted. Attack. At the same time, the sect masters of the Deity sect and the Desire Poison sect attacked together and rushed toward Lu Ming. Brr. A dragon's roar resounded as the master of Ice Dragon Valley stepped forward and punched out. A huge ice dragon condensed and blocked the attacks of the two sect masters of the Deity sect and the Yudu sect. Buzz. At this moment, a beam of holy light rushed out from the crowd of the Tianshan sect. It was incomparably dazzling and rushed towards Lu Ming. Absolute Saint. Another Absolute Saint. Another Absolute Saint had secretly come to the Tianshan sect. Get lost. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master roared. His voice was like thunder as he slashed out with his sword. The terrifying sword light seemed to break through the void and cut at the Absolute Saints who were charging out. The Absolute Saint's body was surrounded by holy light. He extended a finger, and the terrifying holy light was like a ribbon that swept toward the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's sword light. It was the sacred art, the sacred light severing. However, this Absolute Saint's technique was dozens of times stronger than Mo Kong's. There was no comparison at all. The sacred light slash continued to cut at the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's sword light. Retreat, retreat. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon shouted. He moved and appeared beside Lu Ming. He wrapped Lu Ming with his saint power and retreated to Dragon God Valley. Ice Dragon Valley Master followed closely behind. With their combat strength, if they wanted to retreat, the other party would not be able to stop them. The two of them retreated back into the Dragon God Valley's sect protecting array. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. The sect masters of the Tianshan sect, the Tianyu Demon sect, and the other supreme saints appeared outside the protective array of the Dragon God Valley. Their momentum was like a rainbow, forming a terrible wind that constantly hit the protective array of the Dragon God Valley. It seems that the Dragon God Valley is going to protect Lu Ming to the end. The sect master of the Tianshan sect said coldly. When he opened his eyes, a dazzling holy light burst forth, which was extremely shocking. What cover-up? Lu Ming is a disciple of the Dragon God Valley, and it's our duty to protect him. It's you major sects who go back on your words and refuse to admit that you lost the bet. What a joke. Ice Dragon Valley Master said. Alright, in that case, well, destroy Dragon God Valley. From now on, there will be no Dragon God Valley in the Azure region. The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon sect spoke. Although she was a woman, she was extremely domineering. All members of the Tianyu Demon sect, listen up. Form a formation and attack Dragon God Valley. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect was the first to give the order. All members of the Yudu sect, listen up. Form a large formation and attack Dragon God Valley. Following that, the sect master of the Desire Poison sect also issued an order. The eyes of the Tianshan sect master flickered. He didn't expect the Sky Demon sect and the Yudu sect to be so decisive and directly give the order to attack. In the end, he also gave the order to attack. Kill? Kill? Tens of thousands of experts from the three sects stepped out, their killing intent surging like a tide. Terrifying energy erupted, forming a terrifying formation. In the Tianyu demonic sect, many experts gathered to form a three-headed and six-armed demonic god. Each arm was holding a weapon. It was 100,000 feet tall, larger than a mountain, and it attacked Dragon God Valley. Boom. The demonic god's aura was too terrifying. The attack landed on the sect-protecting grand array of Dragon God Valley, causing it to shake violently. On the other side, the Yudu sect's formation gathered and formed a huge toad. Although it was not 1,000,000 feet tall, it was still tens of thousands of feet tall. With a loud cry, it spewed out a terrible poisonous gas, completely submerging the entire Dragon God Valley's entrance. Chapter 1717. 1717 The Ice Dragon Patriarch. As for the Tianshan sect, they formed a large array and formed a long spear that was tens of thousands of feet long. It was dazzling and even more resplendent than the sun in the sky. Whoosh! As the long spear pierced through the air, the space around it rippled as if it was about to be pierced. Boom! The long spear pierced the protective array of Dragon God Valley. The light curtain caved in and almost collapsed. Dragon God 7 Valleys, get into formation and prepare to face the enemy. And NBSP kill. Ice Dragon Valley Master ordered. In the Dragon God Valley, the disciples of each valley gathered together and set up a big array. However, Yin Zheng and the people of Silver Dragon Valley were hiding at the back. There's no way we, the Silver Dragon Valley, will work for that kid Lu Ming. Yin Zheng sneered. He secretly ordered the elders and disciples of Silver Dragon Valley to hide in the back and not attack when the battle began. Boom. 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 The sect-protecting formation kept shaking. The formation formed by the experts of the three sects was too powerful. The sect-protecting formation of Dragon God Valley couldn't hold on for long. Hateful. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly. He looked at the three major sects who were attacking wildly outside, his eyes burning with fire. If he could, he would rather hand over Emperor Tsang's storage ring to end this war. However, it was clear that even if he handed over Emperor Tsang's storage ring, this battle was inevitable. This was because the other party would be insatiable and want him to hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance. He even handed over his other secrets to search his soul. An ordinary man's possession of a jade pendant was a crime. It was all because his strength was too weak. If he had the strength to sweep across the Azure continent, like Emperor Tsang ruling a region, the Heavenly God sect and other sects would not dare to even let out a fart. They would only obediently grovel at his feet. Boom. Boom. The Dragon God Valley's sect-protecting array was shaking more and more violently. Bang. Bang. A loud explosion was heard on some of the big snow mountains in Dragon God Valley. The array base had exploded due to the strong pressure. Some of the formation foundations cracked and the formation's power became weaker. Gotcha. Gotcha. Some parts of the sect's grand protective array had cracked. As more and more cracks appeared, it finally exploded with a loud bang. Kill? Kill? The experts of the three sects formed a great formation and rushed toward Dragon God Valley. The 4 Absolute Saints took the lead and charged in Lu Ming's direction. The Valley Masters of Cloud Dragon Valley and Ice Dragon Valley flew up and faced the 4 Absolute Saints. The 4 experts flew into the sky and engaged in an intense battle. The other experts of the three sects formed a formation. The giant demon god, Toad, and Spear charged at the people of Dragon God Valley. Roar. Roar. Dragon roars were heard in Dragon God Valley. The experts from each of the 7 valleys of the Dragon God formed a large array. Instantly, an ice dragon, a purple dragon, a blood dragon, A total of 5 huge true dragons rose into the sky and faced the huge demonic god. Only those from the Silver Dragon Valley hid in the back and did not make a move. As for the Cloud Dragon Valley, due to the lack of people, it was difficult to form such a huge array. Boom. Boom. The two sides collided with a terrible wind that cracked the ground. The Ice Valley at the outermost edge of the Dragon God Valley was cracked by the collision. Countless cave abodes were destroyed in the great battle. Fortunately, many of the weaker disciples had already retreated to the depths of Dragon God Valley. Junior brother Lu Ming, let's back off. Yang Qianzong and the rest appeared beside Lu Ming. The few of them retreated. It was difficult for them to interfere in such a battle between formations. Lu Ming retreated with Yang Qianzong and the rest, his eyes glimmering. He was considering whether he should use the reincarnation halberd. There were only 2 forces in the reincarnation halberd. If one was used, one would be gone. It was very precious and Lu Ming did not want to use it unless it was absolutely necessary. However, it seemed that he had no choice but to use it now. Great formation, rise! An old man in the Dragon God Valley shouted. He was a great saint in the Great Perfection Realm and was in charge of the battle. All the valleys and snow mountains in Dragon God Valley shone with a bright light. Endless wind and snow gathered and finally condensed into a dozen snow dragons that were 10,000 feet tall. They pounced toward the formation of the 3 major sections. This was the home ground advantage. In Dragon God Valley, apart from the sect-protecting array, there were many other offensive arrays. The offensive formation, coupled with the formation of the Dragon God Valley's 5 Dragon Valleys, made it difficult for the 2 sides to decide who would win. However, it was obvious that the Dragon God Valley side was at a disadvantage. After all, the 3 major sects were all elites. The formation of the experts of the entire sect was very powerful. Dragon God Valley was only a sect. Even with the home advantage, they were still no match for it. The true dragon formed by the formation kept retreating. In the sky, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley and Ice Dragon Valley were fighting the 4 Absolute Saints, but they were no match for them. The situation was getting worse for Dragon God Valley. The reincarnation halberd appeared in Lu Ming's hands. Although the 2 wisps of energy in the reincarnation halberd were precious, he had no choice but to use them now. However, at this moment, an earth-shattering dragon's roar came from the depths of Dragon God Valley. The dragon's roar pierced through the clouds and spread for hundreds of thousands of miles. It was like the roar of an ancient divine dragon, terrifying beyond compare. Everyone from the 3 sects was shocked and couldn't help but look into the depths of Dragon God Valley. Another dragon's roar was heard. Then a huge true dragon rushed out of the vast snow mountain. Its body was white and crystal clear. It was over 10,000 meters long and its dragon claws stepped in the air. In a flash, it appeared on the battlefield. Ice Dragon Patriarch. It's Ice Dragon Patriarch. The disciples of Dragon God Valley cheered. Lu Ming, Yang Qianzong, Tian Shui and the rest were also dumbfounded. It was said that in the depths of Dragon God Valley, in the vast and endless snow mountains, lived an ice dragon. It had lived for a long time and was the guardian divine beast of Dragon God Valley. The heavy snow in Dragon God Valley was also because of this ice dragon. He didn't expect it to be true. Intruders get lost. The Ice Dragon Patriarch roared, and his already huge body grew again. Then he clawed at the huge demonic god condensed by the Tianyu demonic sect. Boom. The giant demonic god was forced back by the ice dragon's claw, and a large hole appeared in his chest. Then the divine dragon swung its tail and swept the huge spear away. The experts who formed the formation seemed to be under a terrible pressure. Their faces turned pale and they almost spat out blood. The ice dragon then let out a long roar and spat out a terrifying cold current from its mouth, freezing the toad that was laughing tens of thousands of feet long. It made countless experts of the Yudu sect spit out blood. The Ice Dragon Patriarch was too powerful. He suppressed the 3 sects' grand arrays with one move. Following that, the Ice Dragon strode forward once more, clawing at the toad. The toad immediately exploded, causing countless experts from the Yudu sect to retreat in a frenzy, suffering heavy injuries. Retreat, retreat. The people of the Tianshan sect and the Tianyu demonic sect quickly retreated, not daring to fight. At this moment, the ice dragon roared and rushed into the sky toward the battlefield of the Absolute Saints. Chapter 1718. 1718 3 drops of Absolute Saint True Dragon Blood Essence. The ice dragon rushed to the battlefield of the Absolute Saints. Before it even arrived, 2 ice blades shot out of its horns and slashed at the sect master of the Sky God sect. The old ice dragon of Dragon God Valley is still alive. The sect master of the Tianxin sect roared, and his face was extremely heavy. Holy light filled the air, and he continuously slashed out 2 swords of holy light, blocking the 2 ice blades. Even if you die, this old man won't die. The ice dragon roared and approached at an extreme speed. Its dragon claws grabbed at the sect masters of the Sky God sect and the Sky Demon sect. A terrifying howl rang out in the sky. Wherever the dragon claws passed, the space seemed to be frozen. The sect masters of the Tianxin sect and the Jianghu demon sect did not dare to be careless. They used their magical powers to resist the ice dragon together. However, they were forced to retreat continuously. Their bodies were covered in a layer of ice and were almost frozen. Ice Dragon Kingdom. The ice on the Ice Dragon Patriarch's body grew stronger and stronger. In the end, it seemed to have transformed into a kingdom. Within this kingdom, countless ice dragons appeared and roared as they pounced towards the 2 sect masters. And NBSP, the 2 sect masters exploded with all their strength, but they were still completely suppressed by the ice dragon. On the other side there were 2 less experts. The sect master of the Desire Poison sect and another absolute saint of the Deity sect were no match for the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley and the Valley Master of Ice Dragon Valley. They were suppressed by the 2 and were at a disadvantage. In the sky, the battle between the absolute saints was extremely violent. After a dozen moves, the sect masters of the Tianxin sect and the Jianghu demon sect coughed up blood and retreated. They were injured by the Ice Dragon Patriarch. Retreat. Retreat first. The sect master of the Heavenly God sect and the others roared and began to retreat. If the battle continued, it would be disadvantageous to them. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was able to fight 2 absolute saints. The Ice Dragon Patriarch was even stronger than the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. They were no match for him. If they continued fighting, they would be in danger of dying. They retreated as they fought. All the disciples and elders of the 3 sects also retreated. Bang! Bang! The ice dragon stomped in the air and chased after the sect master of the Tianxin sect and the Jianghu demon sect. With every step it took, terrifying ice would fall like meteorites. Although the 2 of them tried their best to resist, they still spat out large mouthfuls of blood and their faces turned pale. Dragon God Valley, you're going to make the world your enemy. Let's see how long you can protect Lu Ming. The sect master of the Sky Demon sect howled. Her hair was disheveled and she looked like a crazy woman. A terrifying demonic light burst out from her body. In the end, she self-detonated several great saint weapons and rushed out of the Ice Dragon Ancestor's attack range. The sect master of the Tianxin sect followed closely behind her. The 2 of them were far away in an instant. The other powerhouses also flew at high speed and fled quickly. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from the sphere of influence. The experts of Dragon God Valley didn't pursue. Don't chase after a cornered enemy. If the other party went crazy and fought back with all their might, they would also be injured. The disciples of Dragon God Valley heaved a sigh of relief after the people of the 3 major sects had left. The 3 major sects, including the Tianxin sect, were extremely powerful among the many forces in the Azure region. Each sect was not weaker than the Dragon God Valley. If the 3 major sects joined forces, the Dragon God Valley would be no match for them. If the legendary Ice Dragon Ancestor had not appeared, they would have been in real danger. All disciples clean up the battlefield and guard the place. Let's go. The master of Ice Dragon Valley gave the order, glancing at the people of Silver Dragon Valley who were hiding at the back with cold eyes. This Lu Ming is really lucky. He's fine even after this. The Valley Master of Silver Dragon Valley did not notice the Valley Master of Ice Dragon's gaze. His eyes were fixed on Lu Ming and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Greetings, Ice Dragon Ancestor. Patriarch Ice Dragon. The Valley Masters of Ice Dragon Valley, Cloud Dragon Valley, and the others bowed to the Ice Dragon Patriarch. The Ice Dragon Patriarch twisted his body and turned into a burly old man. He waved his hand and said, "No need." Then he looked at Lu Ming and took a step forward. He appeared in front of Lu Ming and sized him up curiously. Junior Lu Ming greets the Ice Dragon Patriarch. Lu Ming bowed to the Ice Dragon Patriarch. "Ah, you're not bad, kid. Come with me." Then, without saying anything else, he walked toward the great snow mountain in the depths of Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming was stunned. Why was the Ice Dragon Patriarch looking for him? "Ming, go." The voice of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master rang in Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming nodded and followed the Ice Dragon Patriarch in the air. The two of them, one in front and one behind, headed deep into the snow mountain. In the depths of Dragon God Valley, there were vast and endless snow mountains. The two of them crossed dozens of snow mountains before the Ice Dragon Patriarch finally stopped at a random snow mountain. Lu Ming landed beside the Ice Dragon Patriarch and did not say anything. "Your spirit body should be the 9 dragons' combat body, right?" said the Ice Dragon Patriarch. The 9 dragons' combat body was the Dragon God combat body. "That's right. The bloodline I awakened was the bloodline of the 9 dragons." Lu Ming nodded. "The bloodline of the 9 dragons should be able to evolve continuously until you reach the upper-class heavenly spiritual body. I can see that your blood chi is strong and will evolve soon. I'll give you 3 drops of blood essence to help you." A jade bottle appeared in the Ice Dragon Patriarch's hand and he handed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took the bottle instinctively. He opened it and found 3 drops of blood essence in the bottle. They were like dazzling blood diamonds, exuding a terrifying dragon's might. There was even a small dragon circling the surface of the blood essence. "This is..." Lu Ming's eyes were filled with shock. He could sense the aura of an absolute saint from the 3 drops of blood essence. These were 3 drops of blood essence of the holy true dragon. The spiritual essence of the true dragon blood was definitely more abundant than that of the Dragon Valley. These 3 drops of blood were priceless. "Many thanks for Senior's generous gift." Lu Ming thanked him sincerely. "You're welcome. I obtained these 3 drops of blood essence by accident. They're not of much use to me now. You can take them. Well, take good care of Xuanixin in the future," said the Ice Dragon Patriarch. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed like the relationship between the Ice Dragon Patriarch and Xuanixin was not simple. An ice dragon and a snow dragon. Forefather. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his mouth and a storage ring appeared in his hand. "Old ancestor, today's battle was all because of me. This storage ring is Emperor Tsang's storage ring. I will hand it over to you now. You can distribute it to the entire Dragon God Valley as you wish. This war was all because of him." Moreover, Lu Ming had a feeling that this matter would not end so easily. He could not bear to implicate the entire Dragon God Valley. Since he could not open the storage ring of Emperor Tsang, he might as well give it up to enhance the strength of Dragon God Valley. "The ring of Emperor Tsang? You can keep it. This is your own opportunity. Dragon God Valley will not deprive any disciple of his opportunity. Depriving a disciple of his opportunity is the same as depriving him of his potential. How can he give birth to a peerless master?" The Ice Dragon Patriarch waved his hand and continued, "However, this ring has Emperor Tsang's imprint on it. I'm afraid that even if I attack, I won't be able to break the imprint in a short period of time. Keep it for now and you'll be able to break it by yourself in the future." Since the Ice Dragon Patriarch had said so, Lu Ming did not say anything more and kept Emperor Tsang's storage ring. "Go, little guy. I look forward to your growth." The Ice Dragon Patriarch waved his hand. Lu Ming bowed to the Ice Dragon Patriarch and left. Chapter 1719. 1719 Spirit Body Evolution, Chaos Finger of Tribulation. Lu Ming returned to the Cloud Dragon Valley and entered the mountain and river diagram. He began to cultivate in seclusion, planning to refine 3 drops of the true dragon blood essence. Now the key was to continuously improve his strength. If Lu Ming's spirit body could evolve again, his strength would definitely soar. Lu Ming sat down cross-legged and took out a drop of true dragon blood essence. The blood essence exuded a powerful absolute saint's pressure, causing Lu Ming's skin to sting. Swallow. Lu Ming unleashed his devouring power and enveloped the drop of blood essence. He began to devour the spiritual essence in the blood essence and fused it into his body. 3 days later, the drop of blood essence was completely refined. Lu Ming took out another drop. Just like that, 9 days later, the 3 drops of blood essence had been completely refined. The energy had fused into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's accumulation had reached its limit. A dragon roar shook the 9 heavens. Above Lu Ming's head in the sky, a huge dragon appeared. It circled in the sky and roared continuously. At this moment, Lu Ming's body was emitting a dazzling radiance. His muscles were squirming as if there were small dragons swimming in his body. Lu Ming's body was undergoing a transformation. His bone armor was constantly becoming stronger. It was a few hundred to 1,000 times tougher than a Vajra. His muscles were full of elasticity and once they exploded, they had earth-shattering power. His blood was filled with powerful life force and was extremely robust. Lu Ming's physical body became stronger and stronger. Like a divine dragon, his every move was indestructible. After a moment, the 9 dragons in the sky rushed into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Lu Ming then opened his eyes. I've successfully evolved. A medium-grade heavenly spiritual body. Lu Ming revealed a smile. He had a medium-grade celestial spiritual body. Moreover, Lu Ming's body had refined a trace of chaotic qi. The strength of his spirit body was not weaker than that of a high-grade celestial spiritual body. The evolution of the spirit body had increased Lu Ming's combat strength tremendously. Now, if he were to face an expert like Mo Kong again, he would be able to destroy Mo Kong's divine art with one move and kill him with one punch. With a thought, Lu Ming walked out of the mountain and river diagram. After 10 days of seclusion, Lu Ming wanted to find out how the situation in the Azure region was. Sure enough, he found out an important piece of information. The Tianxin sect, the Tianyu demonic sect, and the Yudu sect announced to the world that they were inviting all the other forces in the Azure continent to form an alliance in the Tianyu demonic sect in a month's time. They would destroy the Dragon God Valley and force Lu Ming to hand over the inheritance and treasures of Emperor Tsang. When this news came out, the entire Azure continent was shaken. For a time, the winds and clouds in the Azure region changed, as if a storm was brewing. Of the various powers in the Azure continent, there were some who maintained a neutral stance and were observing from the sidelines. Some forces were already on their way to the Tianyu demon sect. Alliance. Lu Ming's eyes were very cold. What a ruthless method. He wanted to unite the many powerful forces of the Azure continent to destroy Dragon God Valley. As for why he was at the Tianyu demon sect, it was because the Tianyu demon sect was the closest to Dragon God Valley. Once he made a move, he would be able to reach Dragon God Valley very quickly. In the Dragon God Valley, people were in a state of panic. Yinjing even secretly sent people to sow discord. For a time, the people of Dragon God Valley were stirred up. The voices of handing over Lu Ming became louder and louder. If it weren't for the Valley Master's full suppression and the Ice Dragon Patriarch's personal appearance, the situation would have been better. 1 month later, Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly and returned to his cave abode to continue his closed-door cultivation. It's time to practice the Chaos Finger. Lu Ming planned to start cultivating the Divine Power technique. And NBSP now, his Chaos laws had a corresponding divine ability that he could cultivate. However, the Array Dao laws did not have the corresponding sacred art, so he could only look for it in the future. Lu Ming sat cross-legged under the Path Understanding ancient tree, meditating on the Finger of Calamity of Chaos. The difficulty of cultivating a sacred art was astonishingly high. This could be seen from the fact that most of the bright saints in the Azure continent had not succeeded in cultivating it. In the Azure continent, only supreme saints were able to successfully cultivate it. Moreover, the power of a divine ability varied greatly according to the temperature. Mo Kong's sacred art was only at 10% completion and he had just started. Of course, for sacred art techniques, every 10% or even 5% difference in maturity would result in a huge difference in power. For example, 20% would be several times stronger than 10%. If he cultivated it to 100%, its power would be earth-shattering. However, many absolute saints couldn't cultivate a technique to 100% completion. This was because cultivating divine powers was also a process of comprehending the laws. Divine powers and laws complemented each other. When cultivating a sacred art, it could increase one's comprehension of the laws. The stronger one's comprehension of the laws, the stronger the sacred art. Cultivating divine powers could greatly speed up one's comprehension of the laws. If one cultivated a divine power to 100%, it meant that one had comprehended the law to its peak and had completely mastered it. In this way, he could use a complete set of nomological laws as a foundation to evolve a small world and attempt to break through to the martial emperor realm. From this, one could see how difficult it was to cultivate a divine power to 100%. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, another 20 days had passed. The day of the alliance with the Tianxin sect was getting closer and closer. I still haven't succeeded. Lu Ming sighed under the Path Understanding ancient tree. After more than 20 days, he still hadn't succeeded in cultivating the primal chaos tribulation finger. He hadn't even reached the beginner level. A remarkable power technique was indeed difficult to cultivate. Furthermore, it was a remarkable power technique that used the chaos laws as its foundation. The difficulty of cultivating it was even more difficult. Of course, once it was successfully cultivated, its power would definitely be shocking. I'm still too anxious. I'm too eager for quick success. The harder it is to succeed, the more I should relax. Lu Ming let out a breath of turbid air and exited the mountain and river diagram. He planned to go out for a walk or give Xiangxiang some guidance on her cultivation. Lu Ming strolled among the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. A cold wind blew, and Lu Ming's anxious mood slowly calmed down. However, at this moment Lu Ming's expression changed. He took out a voice transmission jade talisman and looked at it. It was Qiao Yingying who had sent him a voice transmission. She sounded very anxious as if something big had happened. Lu Ming took a step forward and headed towards the entrance of Cloud Dragon Valley. Sure enough, at the entrance of Cloud Dragon Valley, he saw Qiao Yingying anxiously pacing back and forth. Yingying, what happened? Lu Ming asked directly. Lu Ming, please save my big brother. At the sight of Lu Ming, tears welled up in Qiao Ying's eyes as if she was about to cry. What's wrong, brother Qiao? Lu Ming asked. My big brother is now in the Sunset Mountains. He's being chased by Mo Yang of the Tianyu demonic sect. Qiao Yingying said anxiously. The Sunset Mountains? You're being chased by Mo Yang. Let's go, well, talk as we walk. Lu Ming waved his hand and the saint energy enveloped Qiao Yingying. He took Qiao Yingying into the air and flew out of Dragon God Valley. The Wuxia mountain range was located in the middle of the Dragon God Valley and the Tianyu demon sect. However, it was closer to the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming flew toward the Wuxia mountain range at top speed. On the way, Qiao Yingying explained the entire situation. Chapter 1720, 1720 Lu Ming, is it you? It turned out that Qiao Hao and a female disciple of the Tianyu demonic sect had gotten to know each other and fallen in love. However, for some reason Mo Yang had found out about this, and in his rage he had wanted to kill Qiao Hao and the female disciple. Qiao Hao and the female disciples of the Tianyu demonic sect had arrived early. Qiao Hao had brought the other party to Dragon God Valley, but he was chased by Mo Yang. Not long ago, he had fled into the Sunset Mountains and sent a voice transmission to Qiao Yingying for help. With Qiao Yingying's status in Dragon God Valley, how could she possibly find an expert that was too strong? Mo Yang had been at the third stage of the half-saint realm during the last treasure-fixing assembly, and he must have brought experts with him. If he had to ask for help, he would at least have to ask for the help of a saint. How could Qiao Yingying invite a saint? She could only think of Lu Ming, and in her panic, she went to find him. Lu Ming's current speed was astonishing. He brought Qiao Yingying with him and streaked across the sky like a stream of light. They headed towards the Sunset Mountains. In just a few hours they were close to the Sunset Mountains. According to Qiao Yingying, her parents had made a destiny talisman for her and Qiao Hao since they were young. With the destiny talisman they could sense each other's presence within a certain range. This was also to allow the siblings to take care of each other when they were out in the world. At the same time, in a valley in the Wuxia Mountains, Qiao Hao and a beautiful young woman were holding hands and looking at the sky with terrible expressions. In the air, three figures stood in the air and looked at the two of them with cold expressions. The person in the lead was Mo Yang, and behind him were two elders. Their auras were strong and their saint might permeated the air. They were clearly two saint realm experts. Senior brother Mo Yang, Qiao Hao and I are truly in love. Please let us go. The young woman begged. Shut up, you bitch. So many Devil's Doctrine brothers have been pursuing you, but you've always rejected them. Why did you have to hang out with this trash from Dragon God Valley? You're simply courting death. Mo Yang coldly berated. Senior brother Mo Yang, when I first met Qiao Hao, there was no conflict between the Tianyu demonic sect and Dragon God Valley. The young woman explained. Shut up. You're just like that bitch Xian Yanqing. Both of you deserve to die. Mo Yang's face turned even colder, especially when he mentioned Xian Yanqing. His eyes burned with anger and evil. You're not allowed to insult the holy maiden. The young woman said. As expected, you're Xian Yanqing's servant. You two are the same. Today I'll make you wish you were dead. Mo Yang descended from the sky, and his powerful aura pressed down on Qiao Hao and the other man. Qiao Hao's body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. What a piece of trash. I don't understand why a bitch like you would take a fancy to this piece of trash. Mo Yang looked at Qiao Hao with disdain and reached out his hand to grab him. Qiao Hao, run. The young woman pushed Qiao Hao away, then unleashed her demonic power and struck Mo Yang with her palm. However, the difference between her and Mo Yang was too great. Her palm power was directly crushed by Mo Yang, and she was caught by the demonic claws that he had condensed. Jiajia, Mo Yang let go of Jiajia. Die. Qiao Hao roared. With bloodshot eyes he charged at Mo Yang like a wild beast. Trash, you're looking for death. Die. Mo Yang shouted coldly. Demonic chi gathered and formed a demonic spear. It shot out like lightning and pierced Chiuhao's chest, nailing him to the ground. Chiuhao spat out a mouthful of blood. His cultivation was sealed by the demonic chi and he could not move at all. "Chiuhao!" the young woman exclaimed. Mo Yang's palm landed on the young woman's face, and a palm print immediately appeared. The young woman's body began to struggle violently. Mo Yang's eyes burned with a fiery light. The evil fire in his eyes grew stronger as he stared at the young woman and said coldly, "You bitch, as Xian Yanking's maidservant, you actually look like her. Although you're not as pretty as that bitch, you can still play with her, haha. Animal, let her go, let her go." Mo Yang. Chiuhao cried out, his eyes filled with rage. He wanted nothing more than to burn Mo Yang into ashes. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Mo Yang waved his hand, and beams of demonic light pierced through Chiuhao's limbs, pinning him to the ground. He said coldly, "You piece of trash, how dare you seduce the disciple of my Tianyu demon sect? Now I'll let you watch. Watch as I play with the person you love." Ah! As Mo Yang spoke, he became even more excited. He reached out his palm and reached out to the young woman. The two old men looked on coldly as if they were already used to it. They were Mo Yang's trusted aides, and this was not the first time Mo Yang had done something like this. They had seen it many times. "Chiuhao, we'll meet again in our next life." The young woman looked at Chiuhao sadly, and her tears flowed down like a broken string of pearls. "Bitch, what are you doing? Die." Mo Yang also sensed that something was wrong and roared. However, it was already too late. A layer of green chi spread across the young woman's face and quickly covered her entire body. In just a few breaths, the young woman's life force was completely extinguished. "Bitch, you hid a poison pill in your mouth. Die." Mo Yang roared. The young woman had actually hidden a poison pill in her mouth. At the critical moment, she bit through the poison pill. It was a terrifying poison, and in an instant, the young woman's life was extinguished. Mo Yang was extremely displeased. His mood, which he had finally managed to get, had been interrupted just like that. He casually threw the young woman's body to the side. "Jia Jia!" Chiuhao roared, his eyes bloodshot. "I'll leave this kid to you. Make him regret being born into this world." Mo Yang instructed an old man. "Yes, don't worry, young master. He will become a dog very soon." One of the old men smiled eerily and walked towards Chiuhao. However, at this moment, a terrifying sound pierced through the air. A black bolt of lightning shot towards the old man at an astonishing speed. The old man's body trembled instinctively. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Puchi. A long black spear pierced through the old man's dantian, sliding him on the ground for thousands of meters, leaving a deep ditch on the ground. The old man's eyes were wide open as he stared at the sky in front of him. There were two young figures stepping on the air. One of them was a young man with long hair that fluttered in the wind. The killing intent he exuded was so terrifying that it made people feel as if they had entered the winter. Lu Ming. The old man spat out these two words with great difficulty. Then, his head tilted to the side and he breathed his last. The figures of the young man and woman were naturally Lu Ming and Chiao Ying. "Big brother?" When Chiao Ying saw Chiuhao's miserable state, she cried out in shock, tears welling up in her eyes. "Lu Ming, it's you?" "No." Mo Yang screamed in horror, his face pale. Chapter 1721. 1721 How do you want to die? Lu Ming's gaze was very cold, extremely cold. A shocking murderous intent burst out from his body. He could guess the situation at the scene with just a glance. Mo Yang, no one will be able to save you today. Lu Ming said coldly and stepped forward. "You block him, die." Mo Yang roared and his figure charged forward like lightning. The other elder would not be so foolish as to stop Lu Ming. Back then, outside Dragon God Valley, Lu Ming had displayed terrifying combat strength. The bright saint was invincible. If he went up, he would only be courting death. He turned and ran in another direction. Lu Ming would definitely chase after Mo Yang first. That way he would be able to escape. "None of you can escape," Lu Ming said coldly. He clenched his fist in the air, and a terrifying devouring power burst out. As his spirit body evolved, his devouring power also became stronger. The devouring power enveloped Mo Yang and the old man at the same time. Their bodies were subjected to a terrifying gravitational force. Not only were they unable to fly forward, but they were also forced to retreat. Ah, how could this be? Fly, fly. You're courting death. Mo Yang roared. He was so scared that his guts were about to split apart. He tried his best to fly forward, but his body was retreating faster and faster. The old man was the same. He couldn't even fly out with his Saint Realm cultivation. He was extremely shocked. Very soon, the two of them retreated to a spot not far from Lu Ming. Spare me, spare me. I didn't do anything. It was all Mo Yang's doing. The old man roared, betraying the old man. You, Mo Yang glared at the old man. You're all jackals of the same lair, you'll die. Lu Ming waved his hand. His holy power was like a knife, cutting the elder into two. His soul was destroyed at the same time. A saint in the initial bright saint realm was completely helpless in Lu Ming's hands. At this time, Qiu Ying had already pulled out the demonic chi blade from Qiu Hao's body. Qiu Hao crawled to the young lad's side and hugged her body like a fool. This made Lu Ming's gaze turn even colder. A cold, killing intent enveloped Mo Yang, and his eyes revealed a look of fear. So, how do you want to die? Finally, Lu Ming's gaze fell on Mo Yang. Lu Ming, you can't kill me. There are so many powerful forces in the Sky Demon Sect Alliance. If you kill me, not only will you die, but all your family and friends will die as well. Mo Yang roared. Whoosh. Lu Ming flicked his finger, and a beam of saint energy shot into Mo Yang's crotch, blasting it into pieces. Mo Yang let out a shrill scream, tears and snot flowing down his face. Even now you're still threatening me. What a joke. Lu Ming said indifferently. Lu Ming, kill me if you can. Let me tell you, Xian Yanqing is dead too. You will never get her. You're too naive. Mo Yang laughed like a madman. He seemed to know that he wouldn't be able to live, so he decided to go all out. Lu Ming's heart trembled and his eyes emitted a terrifying light. Speak, what's wrong with little Qing? What did you do to her? Lu Ming, I won't tell you. The next time you see her, she's no longer her. She might even kill you. Mo Yang laughed. Speak, what happened? Lu Ming's voice was even colder. He had a bad feeling in his heart. He had already felt that something was wrong with Xian Yanqing. The first time he went to the Tianyu demonic sect, he was hunted down on his way back. The second time he went, he didn't even see Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming, just kill me. Just kill me. I won't tell you. Mo Yang laughed heartily. He had gone all out. Do you think I can't do anything if you don't tell me? I'll know if I search your soul. Lu Ming said coldly. With a flash, he appeared in front of Mo Yang. He extended his hand and sealed Mo Yang's cultivation. Don't. Mo Yang was finally afraid. He struggled with all his might. However, his cultivation had been sealed. How could he struggle? Lu Ming stretched out his finger and touched Mo Yang's glabella. Mo Yang's body immediately stiffened, as if he had become a fool. Lu Ming activated his secret skill. His soul force seeped into Mo Yang's soul and he began to search his soul. However, right at this moment, a terrifying destructive force suddenly burst out near Mo Yang's soul. It wanted to destroy Lu Ming and Mo Yang's soul together. Mo Yang's soul is actually under a restriction. It seems like there's a big secret. Lu Ming's heart stirred. It was obvious that someone was afraid that Mo Yang's soul would be searched and his secret would be leaked. Thus, they had set up a seal around Mo Yang's soul. Once Mo Yang's soul was searched, the seal would be activated and destroy his soul. Once his soul was destroyed, Mo Yang would become an idiot. Naturally, he would not be able to find anything. It was very likely that it was a restriction left behind by Mo Yang's master, the sect master of the Sky Demon Sect. Array Dao. Lu Ming growled and activated the Array Dao law. Countless runes filled the air and enveloped the destructive power, trying to seal it. However, the destructive force was very powerful. It kept destroying the runes that Lu Ming's Array Dao laws had turned into. If this went on, Lu Ming would not be able to hold on for long. Bubble? Lu Ming called out. Bubbles appeared and he cast the space-time law, which seeped into Mo Yang's body and enveloped the destructive energy. This temporarily blocked the destructive energy. I have to hurry up. Lu Ming cast the soul-searching art. Instantly, a series of vivid images appeared before his eyes. Suddenly, an image caught Lu Ming's attention. Lu Ming's vision seemed to have transformed into Mo Yang's as he followed a beautiful middle-aged woman down a passage. The beautiful middle-aged woman was the sect master of the Sky Demon Sect. After walking through the dark passage, they came to an underground cave. In the underground cave, there was a beautiful woman sitting cross-legged, motionless. Her whole body was shrouded in demonic chi. Little Qing. Lu Ming's heart trembled. That peerless woman was Xian Yanqing. An NBSP hoo-hoo. In this underground cave, a blood-red mist filled the air. At this time, this blood-red mist gathered together and formed a huge face. It looked like an extremely old woman. Have you brought the materials? The giant face opened its mouth, and its voice echoed in the underground cave. I've brought it. The Grandmaster of the Sky Demon sect took out a jade bottle, from which a few figures flew out. Lu Ming's heart trembled. That figure was clearly the soul of a sage. The giant face opened its mouth and sucked the souls into its mouth. It revealed an expression of enjoyment before speaking in a sharp voice. It's still not enough. I'm still lacking a little. Hurry up and find me more souls. When I recover a certain amount of soul power, I can use this girl's body to be reborn. This girl has a great opportunity. Not only did she obtain the world core of an emperor-level master, but her body also contains a terrifying power. If I use her body to be reborn, not only will my cultivation be fully restored, but I will also be able to reach a higher level. Chapter 1722 Chapter 1722 Shocking secret. The giant face let out a sharp laugh and twisted continuously. It was very strange. Lu Ming could clearly feel Mo Yang's body trembling slightly, as if he was very afraid. Blood Demon King, don't forget what you promised me. The Tianyu demonic sect said. Don't worry. When evil spirit religion rises again, they'll definitely have a way to help you step into the martial emperor realm. The giant face laughed. Boom, boom, boom. A thunderous voice rang out in Lu Ming's mind. How could he not understand what was going on now? In the depths of the Tianyu demonic sect, there was a Dharma king of evil spirit. She seemed to want to use Xian Yanqing's body to be reborn, which meant that she wanted to possess Xian Yanqing. Lu Ming's heart was filled with endless anger. He was lying when he said that Xian Yanqing was in seclusion. Damn it! Lu Ming roared in his heart. He slowly forced himself to calm down and continued to read. Next he saw a few images in succession. Suddenly, many people who did not look like they were from the Tianyu demonic sect appeared on the screen. The Intentionless Saber sect. It's the people of the Intentionless Saber sect. After taking a closer look, Lu Ming realized that these were actually people from the Intentionless Saber sect. The Intentionless Saber sect was actually hidden within the Tianyu demon sect. Without a doubt, the Tianyu demonic sect had also joined evil spirit. Chi. At that moment, the destructive power was getting more and more violent. It directly broke through the obstruction of the Array Dao laws. Even the space-time laws could not stop it and were slowly broken through. A wisp of Lu Ming's soul immediately retreated from Mo Yang's soul. Then the power of destruction drowned Mo Yang's soul. Mo Yang held his head and screamed madly. He seemed to be in extreme pain as he struggled on the ground. After a while, Mo Yang finally stopped struggling and passed out. It was obvious that Mo Yang's soul had been destroyed. Even if he woke up, he would still be an idiot. Little Qing. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly, his eyes filled with a shocking murderous intent. According to the contents of the soul search, Xian Yanqing should still be fine and not possessed. However, the situation was ever-changing and no one knew what would happen next. Every day that Xian Yanqing stayed in the Tianyu demon sect was an extra day of danger. He had to save Xian Yanqing. It seemed that he had to take a break into the Tianyu demonic sect. His cultivation was not enough, but he had the reincarnation halberd. He might have a chance. Taking a deep breath, Lu Ming calmed himself down and walked to Qiu Ying and Qiu Hao's side. Qiu Hao was still holding onto the young lattice body like an idiot. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh. It was a pity that they were one step too late. Otherwise such a thing would not have happened. Ying, let's bring your big brother back to Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming said. Qiu Ying nodded and then softly said, Brother, let's go back to Dragon God Valley first. Miss Jia has passed away. We have to bury her. That's right, Brother Qiu, you have to pull yourself together. Lu Ming said. Qiu Hao nodded and picked up the young lattice body before standing up. Although he had been severely injured, it was not a fatal injury. His martial emperor spiritual body was strong and his recovery ability was extremely strong. He could already move. Brother Lu, thank you. Qiu Hao glanced at Lu Ming, then carried the young lattice body and walked forward. None of you can escape. At this moment, a voice came from the distance. Boom, boom, boom. With a terrifying sound, a silver light streaked across the sky and approached at a terrifying speed. Before the sound even faded, the silver light had already arrived. The silver light dispersed and a figure appeared. Yin Zheng. Lu Ming's pupils constricted and his eyes narrowed slightly. It was Yin Zheng, the master of Silver Dragon Valley. Yin Zheng, you're following me? Lu Ming said coldly. Humph, I'm only sending people to keep an eye on you, Yin Zheng said coldly. He swept his gaze across the scene and his eyes landed on Lu Ming. Lu Ming, hand over Emperor Tsang's legacy and treasures. Yin Zheng, you followed me without permission and wanted me to hand over Emperor Tsang's treasures and inheritance. Aren't you afraid that my master will find out? Lu Ming said. The master of Silver Dragon Valley sneered but didn't say anything. Or, after I give you Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures, you can kill us to silence us? Lu Ming said again. You don't have a choice today. Yin Zheng's voice was cold. Is that so? I choose not to say. Lu Ming said. If you don't tell me, you'll all die. I'll torture these two in front of you step by step so that they can't die. If you still don't tell me, I'll have to learn from you and search your soul. The master of Silver Dragon Valley said. Lu Ming's expression darkened. Yin Zheng, as the master of a valley, how could you treat a disciple of Dragon God Valley like this? How despicable. Lu Ming said. Cut the crap and hand it over. Yin Zheng shouted, greed flashing in his eyes. At this moment, Lu Ming waved his hand and a white light flashed, keeping Qiu Ying and Qiu Hao into the mountain and river diagram. Then Lu Ming used the thundering wind steps and dashed out like lightning. If you want to leave, then stay. A silver light flashed on Yin Zheng's body. He flew out like a silver dragon and caught up with Lu Ming in an instant. He threw a punch and a silver dragon flew out, pouncing toward Lu Ming with terrifying power. Bus. Bubbles, who was on Lu Ming's shoulder, opened a space-time tunnel and Lu Ming stepped in. Space-time law? Break. Yin Zheng was shocked at first. Then he roared and pushed his palms out with an overwhelming force. A huge silver dragon flew out with its fangs and claws bared. The dragon's claws grabbed the space-time tunnel. The space-time tunnel gave off a terrifying vibration and then exploded with a bang. Lu Ming had not crossed a long distance before he was directly shaken out of the space-time tunnel. Yin Zheng was too strong. He was an expert even among the great saints and his cultivation base was close to an absolute saint. On the other hand, Bubbles hadn't broken through to the saint realm. Although the spacetime laws were profound, they were far inferior to Yin Zheng's. The spacetime tunnel was destroyed by Yin Zheng in an instant. Is this the legendary spacetime spirit mouse? Lu Ming, you're really blessed. No, it should be me who's blessed because all of this will be mine soon. Yin Zheng laughed loudly, extremely pleased with himself. Master, Valley Master. Lu Ming suddenly looked behind Yin Zheng and bowed slightly. Lu Ming, do you think I will believe such a low-level trick? Yin Zheng sneered. Lu Ming wanted to divert his attention and escape. How was that possible? Now hurry up and hand over Emperor Tsang's inheritance and treasures. Otherwise you will die a miserable death. You should be well aware that whether you hand them over or not, you are dead. If you hand them over, I will let you suffer less pain. Yin Zheng continued. I think you're the one who's dead. A cold voice was heard. It did not come from Lu Ming but from behind Yin Zheng. Yin Zheng's body stiffened when he heard the voice. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.